This was the goal of the last round. Bonnie Prince Charlie turned back the clock to help bury Dundee. All too well, making history for all the wrong reasons back in 1967, when tiny Berwick Rangers put them out. Keith had their moment in 1980, Inverness Thistle in 85. More recently, Rangers under Graham Souness were beaten by Hamilton, who were then bottom of the Premier, and only last season, Aberdeen were humiliated. How many times have we said it? You just never know in cup football. Everton are still smarting after their FA Cup defeat last night.
Won the championship, but that was weighted.
As well. Can it happen again tonight? Can Clyde of the second division turn over mighty Rangers? We're in the company tonight of the Scottish team manager, Craig Brown, and Steve Archibald is with us as well. Welcome to you both, gentlemen. Both, of course, with connections at Clyde down the years. Former manager, ex-striker that you managed to sell on.
Yes, managed to sell him, but I managed to get a huge fee of 20,000 for him, so that confirmed my managerial potential when I sold him to Billy McNeil, and Billy, I think, is in the commentary box there.
He is. We'll be speaking to Billy later. Did you have good memories of your time there?
Yeah, very good. I loved it at Clyde. I was 9.5 years at Clyde, and we had great times, and it's a smashing club. We did play Rangers in the Scottish Cup in that time, and I went to warn Rangers. We drew in the first game. John Gregg was the manager. We drew at Sheffield, 2 each. And we lost 2-0 in the replay, so I would hope for maybe a draw for Clyde tonight.
What about you, Steve? Having travelled the world, still fond memories of Clyde?
Yeah, probably the best times of my footballing career were at Clyde, because there was no real pressure. I was only starting out in the game, and it was just good to be playing football. There was no money involved. There's no real pressures.
No money, he was always wanting more money. He was always asking for more money.
I think my top line then was £6.50.
And he was overpaid.
Yeah.
He was a midfield player, I can assure you. He did very well, actually. And if you ask Billy, Billy said, I'll take a chance on him as a midfield player. If he doesn't make it there, I'll make him a sweeper. So then he transpired.
We will ask Billy when we get the opportunity.
I would like you to ask him, please.
He turned into a decent striker. Well, it's all about cup shocks tonight, as it was last night. Everton, the FA Cup winners. It's just worth, I think, having a look at this to realise what can happen. I think I read today that Joe Royal felt his team weren't up for it. If you're not up for it, Ian Bogey with the first. In the times that we've sat here already this season, Stephen, we've talked about the potential for something like this happening. Everton back into it through Graham Stewart. But it does, doesn't it? It keeps on happening.
Well, it's the beauty of football, isn't it? Especially in the Cup, you can just never predict it. On the face of things, it looks like a certainty, and all of a sudden, the tables are turned, and we're watching now what happens. It was a terrific performance last night.
And no excuses regarding the playing surface, which was top class.
No.
John McCarthy with the winner for them. And that's Port Vale through, and the FA Cup holders out.
Port Vale were more hungry in the night, and that's what counts. Cup games are all about who's hungry on the night, who wants it most on the day.
The All-Premiership game went Manchester City's way to set up, of course, a derby game at the weekend against United. City opening the scoring through Nigel Clough. He does like that position in there, Craig, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, and he's a good player, very good player. Surprising he's not been in the limelight for a while, but I think given this other opportunity with City, he'll do very well. I remember him playing against us in the under-21 team for England, and he was exceptional.
Niall Quinn got the second, a minute after half-time this.
That's an excellent goal.
How many times have we seen Coventry do that this season? Fall apart defensively. Dion Dublin, who took this game to a replay, scored for Coventry in the 85th minute, having just missed a very good chance. But by this time, it was too late. That was 2-1, ultimately. West Ham United, who we saw put on a terrific performance here on Monday at Tottenham, were at Grimsby last night. and they couldn't repeat it. I just wondered, Steve, whether it might have been a case of too much in too few days.
It certainly has an effect. It's hard to say, but as we said before, it's who's up for it on the night and who wants it most.
That was in Gary Childs, despite the attempt to get it off the line. I think in those situations, as a striker, you get your hand up quickly and appeal, don't you?
Well, you go for it. Yeah, you go for it. Definitely go for it.
And then wait. Neil Woods with the second.
He was one of Graham Souness's early signings at Rangers, I think, he Woods.
And then Jamie Forrester, who we saw in an FA Youth Cup final for Leeds against Manchester United a couple of seasons back, now playing his football with Grimsby. So just to underline that, Craig, it keeps on happening. Can it tonight, do you think?
Well, I've got to be honest and say I don't think it can happen, but I would like to think that maybe Clyde could sneak a draw tonight and get the big gate at Ibrox for a replay, because they deserve all the success they can get. Alex Smith's an excellent chap, a smashing manager. He's done very well. He's won the Cup twice already. I don't think he's going to win the Cup this year with Clyde, but it would be great to see them get at least a draw and go to Ibrox for a replay.
Well, I talked about it in terms of Bonnie Prince Charlie right at the start of the programme. I suppose, really, old King Cole might have been a more fitting description. I think he's waiting to talk to us. Charlie Nicholas at Broadwood. Charlie, can you hear me?
Who's that speaking to me?
My goodness me, look at the hair as well. What are you going to do with that tonight?
It's going to be put up in a bun.
Charlie, did you ever think that you might be standing on the threshold again of upsetting Rangers when you joined Clyde?
I was praying for it, Keys, because I was sick to death of sitting next to you. So I wanted to get away from you and start having a game again. So it's exciting enough for us tonight, a lot of young kids in our team. And it's brilliant to play against somebody like Rangers again.
What's the feeling up there?
Well, to be honest, it's been quite a tense week for some of the youngsters. They've had the cameras and the newspapers chasing them all week. But the last 2 days have settled down quite nicely, and I think now they're looking forward to the match.
I would have thought you might have been able to deflect some of that pressure. You see a camera at 50 yards and can find it, Charlie, don't you?
I wish I could say the same about my passing.
Listen, while we've got your big talking point up there, which I know you feel strongly about, Paul Gascoigne and this succession of bookings, what are your feelings as we look at the 3 most recent? Why does it keep on happening? Is there a sense of humour failure up there, perhaps? This is the first. Remember this?
I remember it well. I think it is a lot to do with the lack of humour up here. We in the past have been famous for this. But Gaza, I mean, what does he do? I mean, the referee loses his card. What happens if he gives him a red card? Is he going to send him off? I think that is total humour. And for me, he doesn't deserve to get booked. And this is another example of Gascoigne. He's been tormented all day by the Thistle fans. Scores a great goal in front of Rangers supporters. For me, he's not doing any harm. That's entertainment, and we want to see more of that. And I don't think he deserves to be booked for anything.
Well, he was booked, I think, for the celebration, wasn't he? And then this was against Motherwell on Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, what happened here?
Well, I don't think we catch the angle right in the camera, but I think he has a few words to say to Chris McCart, the Motherwell defender, and just got carried away a little bit. And I think that I would book.
But if you get close tonight, you'll be advising the same, will you?
I'll not get near him tonight. Don't worry about that.
Well, I tell you what, Charlie, we've enjoyed your company. We've been looking forward to this with you for the past few weeks. I hope it goes well. Do you think you'll make the 90 minutes?
I hope so, Keys. I would just like to say, see these hands with the hairs? Could you send me your razor? I'm badly in need of a razor. I need a good shave.
I'm pleased you're taking it all seriously.
As always.
I hope it... I hope it goes well for you.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Charlie.
Take
We'll
care.
talk to you later on. Charlie Nicholas, who plays, believe it or not, for Clyde tonight in what, less than 50 minutes' time. We kick off at 8 o'clock. He will never change, will he? He will never change. Rangers have arrived at Broadwood, which is a smashing little stadium, due to open, I think, officially in some 3 weeks' time. Both ends tonight, still without seating. You'd have thought somebody might have tried to get some seats in there, Craig, and make a few pounds more out of this tonight. It's a big, big night for them, isn't it?
Yeah, I spoke to John Macbeth, the Clyde chairman, and they did make every effort, but they found it was impossible to get it done. I'm sure they would love to have had the ends done, but the draw was too late. To know the fact that we're playing Rangers, they didn't realise they were going to beat Dundee and then go on to play Rangers, so they haven't time to do it.
Paul Gascoigne wandering through...
I see a very influential guy going through there, Alan Hodgkinson, the goalkeeping coach, who's the national team coach. And I think Andy Gorham has a lot to thank Alan Hodgkinson for.
He's been in great form, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So Rangers tonight, in a no-win situation, leaders of the Premier, of course, and they are at 2nd Division Clyde tonight. and it's an uphill battle for them. We saw them against Keith at the start of the programme, banging 10 past them. They are obviously firm favourites tonight. This is what they've done since beating Keith.
There's Rod McDonald. Wanted more time than Rangers would allow there. Still, though, Thistle have possession. McDonald's in trouble. That's Gascoigne. Chance for the Rangers up there. Great play by Gascoigne. Superb finishing. Well, you put your mortgage on this, I think. The error by Billy McDonald, the little flick from Charlie Miller, and then it was down to Gascoigne against Nicky Walker, and there was only going to be one winner. And the downside is, though, that Paul Gascoigne has been booked for leaving the field of play to celebrate. And the corner kick will be taken by Cameron. And a great volley by McDonald. Thistle are back on level terms with a stunning volley from Rod McDonald. Couldn't have hit it better. Now Alan McLaren gets his head to this, ahead of Andy Gorham. Well, look at that for a deadly finish. The short corner this time. Welland and Loudrop work the ball between them. Here's Gascoigne. And a perfect reply from Gascoigne. A quite sensational goal from Gascoigne. And this time he makes sure he doesn't leave the field of play. Well, look at this now. He shows all the skill here. This line of foot onto his left foot. And then Nicky Walker had no chance at all. His second of the match, his 10th of the season. Paul Lambert playing right in the centre of midfield. Motherwell. It's been a tactical switch also made by Motherwell to bring Eddie May into a more forward position. Here's Gascoigne. Ian Ferguson outside him. It's the only goal. The second minute of the match, it all looked so simple. Once again, the inspiration from midfield was Gascoigne. He's so dangerous, running at defensive like this. His awareness is outstanding. He picks out Ian Ferguson. His time to set himself the shot right across Scott Howie. Willen seeing a lot of the ball. So too is Lambert. Van der Gag, Brian Martin wants the ball played short to him. Oh, Motherwell playing really with renewed confidence here. A remarkable performance. And Martin equalises for Motherwell. It's his first goal of the season. And the first man since Bartomalik Bonds to score for Motherwell since October. And he did it with real style. McLaren striding out from the back. Good pass. Here's Gascoigne. McLaren. Rangers take the lead. Inspired play by Alan McLaren. The pass to Gascoigne. Now, McLaren continues with a run into the Motherwell defence. It breaks there off Brian Martin, and there's no mistake by McLaren. Ball still in play. McKinnon battling hard. He wants to go on his left foot for the cross. It's a great goal! Will they focus first for Motherwell? Motherwell are back on level terms. Well, this is all untidy. The only player with real focus here was Rob McKinnon, Van Bossen and Moore not getting to grips with the task. Here's McLaren coming forward again. He did so effectively some time ago. He scored the Rangers' second goal. Here's Loudrop. The ball's McCoist. Penalty's been given. Penalty kick it is. A tackle by McCart. on Gascoigne, is it? No, is it? Gascoigne is being booked here. Now, what is the referee's decision? Ian Ferguson wants to debate the issue. He's waved aside. Gascoigne is yellow carded. Well, what is the decision? Is it a dive or was it a penalty? What's the... No, it's a penalty kick. So what Gascoigne did is not at all clear, but Rangers have the perfect chance to go back in the lead with McCoist. McCoist against Howie. Here's McCoist. 3-2 to Rangers. We're back in the lead. McCoist keeping on the field of play there to celebrate, but this is an excellent penalty, sending Scott Howie the wrong way.
And how many more times can he do that? Off the bench as a substitute and got the winning goal with the penalty. Right, let's hear from Walter Smith, who's ready to talk to us tonight. He's with Davy Provan.
Walter, Ali McCoist is a surprise omission in the Rangers side tonight. What's his problem?
It's the recurrence of the calf strain that he had. We played him as substitute on Saturday. He came on and looked okay the last 20 minutes, but in training again the other day he felt it again, so I'm afraid he misses out.
When do you expect to have him back?
Well, I think he'll be fit for our next game against Aberdeen, which is in 10 days' time, so I think that he'll be fit for that one.
You watched Clyde beat Dundee in the last round. What were your impressions of them?
Well, they played very well, deserved to win. They got off to a terrific start. A great free kick by Charlie Nicholas to put them in front, and they added to that one quite shortly afterwards. Dundee came back at them a little. They weathered that storm there and came back strongly in the second half, and I felt they deserved it and played very well indeed.
I have to ask you about Paul Gascoigne, Walter, because you felt obliged to come out at the weekend and defend his position. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, I just felt I had one or two bookings I felt were, you know, a little bit iffy, if you like, and, you know, it was starting to come to the stage where everybody seemed to be mystified why he was being booked all the time, and I felt I had to say something, and did do.
The rumour factory in Glasgow still has him leaving the club at the end of the season. What do you say to the Rangers supporters looking in tonight? No,
there's no way that that's going to happen. He's just bought a house, girlfriend's just expecting a baby, so they'll be moving up to Glasgow shortly rather than moving away from it.
Gascoigne and Nicholas head-to-head in the midfield area tonight. Is that something we should look forward to?
I think so. I think, you know, both players will look forward to that. Charlie Nicholas gives them a taste of maybe an atmosphere that he thought he would never get to again coming down to Clyde. So he's out nationwide television. He's a good player, Charlie, and he was instrumental in helping Clyde get through in the last round. Hopefully,
ask him about the head tennis.
hopefully not as successful tonight, but still he'll enjoy his clash against Paul.
Thanks, Walter, and thanks to Paul Gascoigne in the background.
Thanks, David.
Always gets the last word. Spoke to us soon as well, didn't I? Obviously can't do that tonight. Ali McCoist, no McCoist in any capacity for Rangers this evening. Our live football comes from Scotland. It's the Tennent's Scottish Cup fourth round tie between Clyde, 3 off the bottom in the second division, and Rangers, who are top of the Premier right now and do not want to be making headlines for all the wrong reasons tomorrow. When we come back, more on the pride of the Clyde. Tennent's Scottish Cup action for us tonight. Broadwood is our venue. That's the home of Clyde, who take on mighty Rangers. The Victory Shield Series continues tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Wales against Northern Ireland this week. If you're in the area, the Racecourse Ground Wrexham is the venue, so try and get along. If not, join us here on Sky Sports at 7. With an FA Cup special Saturday at 6. It just keeps on coming, this football. The fifth round tie between Ipswich and Aston Villa will be featured. That's Saturday at 6, and an FA Cup special Monday at 7, live from the City Ground, Nottingham Forest against Tottenham. That's coming up Monday at 7. Nottingham Forest against Spurs. Tonight we're concentrating on Scottish football, as I said, in the company of the Scottish team manager, Craig Brown. We also have Steve Archibald here with us. Before we go any further, I think we should get ourselves up to date with the most recent meeting in the Bells Scottish Premier, which happened on Tuesday. Motherwell in action against Aberdeen. And we saw this cup tie, the reverse of this, recently here. And poor old Motherwell were in the middle of a nightmare at the time, Craig. It's got a little bit better since, but it's going to be uphill all the way for them between now and the end of the season, isn't it?
It will be, but they were definitely the hungrier team Tuesday night, and I think everyone agreed deserved to get the points. And with 3 points at stake in every game, it's important that they pick up the home points if possible. But I saw the Aberdeen Cup tie, and Aberdeen were well on top on that occasion, but it
Very much
was a
so.
reverse here. So I think, you know, Alec McLeish's got Motherwell fighting now, and they're hungry, and I think they'll get a good number of more points before the end of the season.
There's the winning goal from Alex Burns, and what relief there must have been when that went in, eh? Don't often get two games like this in such quick succession with the result going the same way, do you?
No, you don't. And Motherwell, I think, in the first game realised that they weren't competitive enough, and they certainly competed the other night.
Alex McLeish would probably have liked a cup run, but
I think he would have liked a penalty there as well.
But that's a penalty, isn't it? In anybody's pocket, surely.
It looks it from the TV picture.
Willie Faulkner going over, who I think was also booked for his troubles as well. Brian Irving with the challenge. But there we are. Again, we've said before, when you're down at the bottom, not much goes for you. But they got the result and the 3 points, which does close the gap on Partick. Everybody's played 26 now. Motherwell, Partick, Falkirk involved in the battle to stay afloat. Kilmarnock have opened up some daylight between themselves and Falkirk. Then it's Wraith, Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, Celtic and Rangers. And what a battle at the top, eh?
Great battle. I think you've got we're going to be seeing this on Sky.
We are there, yeah.
Well, I
Rangers
think
against
by that
Celtic.
time it may be tighter than it is at the moment. You never know, and it'll be right to the death, that one. And I wouldn't like to predict the champions at the end of the season.
March the 17th, that one is live here on Sky Sports on the same day. I think we've got Leeds and Everton as well. Now then, get up to date with the latest Scottish Cup action. Last night, before we go any further, Berwick against Dundee United. Berwick in the yellow here, Steve.
Yeah. Berwick are a useful team. They play some good football, especially midfield. The midfield and front six play good football, good movement, and he's just got a good goal.
Grant Johnson, that went down to as an own goal. Now what was happening here? This was a real comedy of errors. Owen Coyle eventually brought him down, and that's a penalty. Should have gone Rose Edge, shouldn't it, that ball?
Yeah, well, his manager probably told him that after the game, that's for sure. But it just shows you they've gotten a goal up, made a mistake, let Dundee United back in, really. They haven't scored through their own efforts. That's just a mistake, and it really should, as you say, the ball should have gone into Rose Edge.
Full marks to Owen Coyle for taking this one, but that's another soft one, Craig, isn't it?
Very soft, yeah, but Owen's always there when there's a chance going. He's a scorer at any level, and I think, particularly for Dundee United, he would be very influential between now and the end of the season. He's been out the team, but now he's back in, and I think it could pay dividends for Billy Kirkwood and Dundee United.
Dundee United at home against Dunfermline in the next round. Now Clyde against Dundee from the last round, and this is how they set up this tie tonight. Who's the old stager there with a free kick?
That's magnificent. That is absolutely tremendous. I think Walter Smith will be warning his players against conceding free kicks round about the edge of the box, because Charlie could just pot it once again. I saw his first goal for Clyde at Ayr, and it was magnificent also. So Charlie's very, very capable.
We were having some fun with him earlier, and probably as a manager, Steve, you want that sort of atmosphere in a dressing room on a big night like this, don't you? He was having fun, but beneath that, there's still a determination to turn it on a night like this, isn't there?
Yeah, no, it's good that Charlie, with his experience, can have that kind of fun, but also you know that he's going to go out there and do his utmost to win the game. It helps young kids especially as well, just to relieve a little bit of tension and get their minds maybe relaxed when you need it to be relaxed.
Because we should make no mistake about this, it's a big night for Clyde, Greg.
Oh, very big, and Charlie will, I think he'll settle the youngsters, because he's got a great sense of humour, and they love him at Clyde. I know all the young players there, they look forward to training in the morning, they listen to Charlie, he encourages them. There is never a debit remark from Charlie. Now that's important, always encouragement, and I'm sure in the game tonight you'll see him encouraging them, and of course the humour will relax the tension in the dressing room.
Well, let's find out more about the pride of the Clyde. Davy Provin reports.
Clyde's name last appeared on the Scottish Cup in 1958, but the connection between the national trophy and the present staff is a healthy one. George McCluskey scored the winner for Celtic against Rangers in the 1980 final, an extra-time goal that sparked an infamous riot. Midfielder Ian Angus was a goal-scorer for Motherwell when they beat Dundee United 4-3 after extra time in 1991. Alex Smith has won it twice as a manager, with St Mirren in 1987 and Aberdeen in 1990. And among the Dons who scored against Celtic in the penalty shootout that day, Charlie Nicholas and Graham Watson. A wealth of cup experience for Clyde to draw upon, and they'll need it if they're to fare better than when a Premier Division side last visited in this competition.
A superb goal from Dundee United. The Clyde defence, calm, wide open. And some brilliant footwork inside the penalty area. Jim McInally doing so well there and teed that up for Billy McKinlay. That's a possibility. Parks with a shot. Knox was caught. That's a penalty. Malpass caught him coming inside. Well, what a chance this is for Clyde to get back in the match. Here Angus, the skipper, 33 years old, full of experience. Beautifully taken by Angus. Kinley's corner kick. Petrich was there. And it's played in the rebound. It looked like David Craig who got the last touch. He takes the congratulations. Well, the aerial power of Dundee United was always a major threat to Clyde, never better exemplified than this. McKinley's corner kick, Petrich leaping for this. Off the crossbar it goes. David Craig reacted, and Clyde couldn't keep it out. Free kick's taken quickly. McKinley flights it into the far post area. Up goes Craig. It's in for the flag. David Hara claimed the last touch. A killer blow perhaps from Dundee United right on half-time. Hara takes the congratulations of his teammates. McKinley playing this in. Craig attacks it well to win it, and there was a touch on by Hara. Lots of United players forward here supporting this move, looking for the killer fourth, I think. Bowman, there it is! That was magnificent, absolutely outstanding, the goal from Dave Bowman. Now they really don't come any better than this. And Dave Bowman, by no means a prolific goal scorer, it's his first of the season, you'd hardly believe that. Plays it forward near the wrist, it's the back heel into his path, and the thundering shot into the top corner. Here's Nixon again. Still in possession, a chance for the fifth. Well, that was brilliant. Well, there's always that massive anticipation around the stadium when Jared Nixon goes a run like that. But it's goal number 9 of the season for the man from Trinidad with 5 minutes of the match remaining. Going right across on a diagonal run, goes past virtually the entire Clyde back four, steadies himself to knock that beyond Les Fridge.
A year on from that Dundee United defeat, these tickets are like gold dust. The visit of champions Rangers putting Clyde firmly in the spotlight. But that doesn't mean a shirking of responsibility even in this most important of weeks. Clyde are still trying to get established in their new local community of Cumbernauld, and central to that is their football academy. Manager Alex Smith and his assistant John Brownlee are there to supervise as squads of boys and girls are put through their paces by some top names.
Don't go, you get touched, guys. We're going for a hat-trick here, lads. Why, don't make it 3-0. Ready to go! On you come. Press your right. And the left. Give it. Hand up. Good lad, well done. Oh, good save. Good save.
The first team haven't played since a 1-1 draw at East 5 12 days ago, so the training this week has been tough. No one at Broadwood is getting carried away with thoughts of beating Rangers, but everyone's allowed to dream.
I don't think there'd be much point in turning up on Thursday if we didn't think we could do it, so we'll not come out and say that we're looking to shock Rangers, but we're always hoping for a wee bit. We've got the guys here that can do it, like Charlie Nicholas, so we can maybe do it. We can maybe give people a wee shock, so we're looking forward to it.
Goalkeeper John Hillcoat is the man charged with making sure that early goal doesn't happen.
I think it'll be fairly busy, you know. Obviously, like it's the Rangers we're coming up against, so I'm looking at being a busy man, you know.
Top scorer Eddie Anand will have his work cut out at the other end.
It's a big challenge to score goals and to play against one of the top teams in the country. The best defensive record in the Premier League. It'll be a good game, it'll be hard. If we work and play well, we can play, then we'll create chances and hopefully I'll go on the end of one.
The financial rewards that come with the tie against Rangers are important to Clyde, but it's not the only spin-off.
Well, I think it's given us a tremendous lift. It's given us an opportunity to get nationwide publicity. It gives us the young players an opportunity to play for Rangers in a big important game, and it also gave them the experience of winning a big cup tie against a club in a higher league in Dundee in the last round, and it's given them a lot of confidence, and I just hope that they'll be able to, as a test for them, to go out and handle the whole Rangers situation.
Is that the fear for you as the manager, that come the moment the youngsters might freeze?
Yeah, well, I think it always is. I think you always fear for them, but I think most times when I've been in situations like this and played younger players in a big tie, I've always handled it, and I'm quite sure I always will do that.
Is it also part of the learning experience for them?
I think it's a very important part of the learning experience. I feel the need to go into games like this and let them see a picture of what it's about in higher levels. I think you get 1,000 words. I mean, you can tell them about what it's like and what you're trying to aim them to. But if you see the picture and they take part in it, then it gives them a better idea what to aim for.
You won the Scottish Cup as a manager, Alec, with 2 different clubs. Without giving too much away, what will you be saying to the players just before they go out?
Well, I would be saying to them that I don't want to lose an early goal, that's for sure. That we've got to make sure that we're organised and we're tight in the early part of the game, and we don't make any basic errors that's going to put Rangers in the driving seat. As I say, they've got enough outstanding players to put us under pressure as it is, but we have got to make sure that we concentrate in the early part of the game, that we get bedded in and allow us to then ourselves to try and exploit any areas or gaps that Rangers may allow us to do.
And it's coming up live very shortly here on Sky Sports, 8 o'clock kickoff, Clyde against Rangers. We have Steve Archibald and Craig Brown, the Scottish team manager, with us tonight. Can't let the opportunity go without talking to Craig about Euro 96. Are you looking forward to it now?
Yeah, very much. There's a great deal of hype, Richard, up in Scotland, as you can imagine, and of course there's one game that's causing great interest, and
which is?
I keep saying to people, we've got 1 easy game and 2 difficult ones.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of speculation as well about the players that you'll be taking with you. One that we have on view tonight, I imagine, picks himself, Andy Gorham.
Yeah, obviously, Andy's outstanding, and as I said, as the team arrived, he's got a great deal to thank Alan Hodgkinson for. But Andy, on his day, in fact, he's very seldom, it's not his day, he's, I would say, the best in Europe. You can see the agility there. He's had numerous operations in his knee. He plays with a protective knee covering, but it doesn't hamper his agility. And of course, since I saw him at Oldham, and Joe Royal told us he was an expert in every sport. You know, he's a great cricketer, a great snooker player, anything with a ball. He's got hand-eye coordination second to none. So you see the number of saves he's making in this clip. It's quite
Don't wish to be too unkind and pin you down here, but you say he's arguably the best in Europe on his day. You've got Jim Leighton around as well, who's been your first choice of late.
He's equally the best in Europe. So we've got 2. I genuinely think we've got the 2 best goalkeepers in Europe. Now, I've seen most of them, and I don't envy any other country the goalkeeper. I can assure you, it's a real. We can toss up between Gorham and Leighton. And whichever one we play, we know we've an outstanding goalkeeper.
We've speculated here about Michael Watt at Aberdeen, somebody who's not been mentioned recently, Brian Gunn of Norwich. Are they both in with a shout?
Yeah, very much so. We've got 3 goalkeepers to include, and Brian Gunn is very much in my thoughts. Brian has never let us down. He's a smashing chap, he's an excellent goalkeeper, and he's a year or 2 younger than the other 2. So Brian is very much, I'll have a look at Brian and put him in contention. Michael Watt also, a bit younger, former under-21 keeper, doing very well. We've got Nicky Walker at Partick Thistle, so the third one will come from the 3 that I've mentioned. It'll be Gunn, Walker, or young Michael Watt.
On fire down here right now, John Spencer of Chelsea. Let's talk strikers for a moment or so. 5 in his last 6 league games, John Spencer.
Well,
there he is.
He told me he was playing well, so...
Did he?
It must be true. Excellent, John is, and he's a bit of the Charlie Nicholas in the dressing room, you know. He's a great character to have around the squad. And unfortunately, we had him in Japan in our tour in the summer, and he was ordered off. I think he didn't quite realise that the referee understood English. In fact, spoke better English than John did. So his remarks weren't appreciated by the ref, so he got an early, and that meant he could only play part of the game against Japan.
But he's put himself back in the frame, eh?
Very much so. He was never out of the frame as far as I was concerned.
Good.
A favourite of mine from the under-21 team, I can assure you. And I think playing that wee bit deeper is suiting him. He was telling me that he likes playing just deeper.
I don't think he did initially, but he and Glenn Hoddle eventually came to an agreement on that, and he's actually been in great form ever since. Duncan Ferguson, can you get him fit? Can you get his mind right? You'll obviously want him around, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think Everton lost to Port Vale, and
without him,
that's what I was going to say, that maybe had Duncan been playing, they might have been up for it a bit more, but certainly if he's playing the way he can play and fit and well, we can certainly use him in the summer in England.
He's actually looking very good, isn't it, in a number of departments for you all of a sudden.
Well, we're beginning to feel, you know, the striking department was our main problem. We defended very well in the qualifying games, and the midfield's excellent. We've got the McStays, McCalls, McAllister, Collins. We were thinking in terms of looking for strikers. A wee bit disappointed that Ali McCoist is running out of time, but I still don't lose hope for McCoist.
Well, I was just about to ask you about Ali McCoist, who does have a habit of, as Steve said, of coming into important games and just producing something a bit special. Running out of time, yes, but might you be tempted?
Yeah, I'm always tempted because he's got a proven scoring record at every level, particularly at international level. I know you moan a bit here about Shearer not scoring at international level. We can't have that complaint about McCoist.
You're not worried about that either, are you?
No, I'm not worried. I would be honest and say that I worry about Shearer because I think he's outstanding, but I'm not worrying about his scoring record. Long may that continue when he plays against Scotland. But McCoist is never in that position. He doesn't go that number of games without scoring against any opposition. So,
and that's the record breaker. And what a way to bring up a record as well. This was Saturday, on as a substitute, as we said, and gets the winning penalty.
Yeah, you've shown us three of the strikers who look to be very much in my thoughts.
Is it too late for Archibald?
I think so. We've tried him. And,
that didn't work out.
He's always hard. It didn't work out. We tried him. We got a fair share of games. In fact, was grossly underrated, I may say, by the Scottish fans. You know, leading scorer in Scotland, leading scorer in England, leading scorer in Spain. And some of the fans still couldn't appreciate him. So that defies logic.
He was fiver, Craig.
He was outstanding. You can give him the money back.
That's a rare sight as well. His hand's in his pocket. That's great.
You get to know me quite well, Richard.
Let's have a look at Scotland's fixtures. 3 at the moment. Might you be able to get something else in?
Well, we're happy with the 3. We may have another one in the USA, but that's not confirmed. The authorities over there are trying to fix us another game when we go. We're going to a training camp, which has been a favoured venue for us. You know, we went there before the Swedish European Championship, and the players liked it. It was comfortable over there. So
the game against Australia is not as silly as it looks either, is it? A lot of their players now are in and around Europe.
Yeah, Eddie Thompson said 10 of his first 11 play in Europe, and 1 or 2 in England, as you know. And in fact, I was doing a count. I think there are over 20 Australian players in England. Not all international players, but Australia will be an interesting fixture for us.
Let's just tidy it up. What's a good Euro 96 for Scotland?
To progress beyond the preliminary stage and to beat England.
More importantly than anything else.
Exactly.
In that order?
In the reverse order.
Live football tonight comes from Scotland. It's the Tennant Scottish Cup 4th round tie between Clyde and Rangers, who thumped 10 past Keith last time out. Clyde have got their eyes on an upset. When we come back, we'll be able to check up on the team news. We know Ali McCoist isn't around. David Provan will confirm the rest. Welcome back. Live Scottish football tonight. The Tennant Scottish Cup 4th round tie between Clyde and Rangers. Favourites? 9-2 on Rangers, 12-1 Clyde, 7-2 the draw. Van Vossen of Rangers favourite to get the first goal. In fact, look at that page. Laudrup, Gascoigne, Ferguson, all quoted. Eddie Annand of Clyde, their top scorer with 15 this season at 12-1. This is the page where the gamblers maybe dip in. Charlie Nicholas, is it a night for Charlie, I wonder? 14-1, Charlie Nicholas to get the opener. And the head-to-head 16 cup meetings going all the way back to 1880. Rangers won that 11-0. There was a 49 final. Rangers won that 4-1. Most recently, the game that Craig Brown was talking about, 1980, finished 2-2 at Shawfield. Rangers won 2-0 at Ibrox in the return. 2 goals from John McDonnell. Right, let's go back to Broadwood and get the team news confirmed now with Davy Provan. Davy, good evening to you.
Good evening, Richard. Welcome to Broadwood Stadium. Certainly the biggest match that this stadium has ever seen. A real sense of anticipation here. And you know, Clyde really can't lose tonight because regardless of what happens out there on the pitch, they stand to make something like £100,000 from this match. And given that they operate a staff of some 25 full-time players, that money really is a godsend. Let's take a look at the sides first of all. We have the team sheets here, and we can turn first of all to Alex Smith's side. John Hillcoat is the goalkeeper tonight, and he expects to be a busy man. In front of him, a back four of Graham Ferguson, Jim Thompson, Graham Watson and Keith Knox. Kenny Gillis will play the central role in midfield with Martin O'Neill and Ian Angus either side of him. And further forward, the 3 men who did all the damage to Dundee in the last round. Charlie Nicholas and Tommy Harrison in the slightly withdrawn roles, with Eddie Annand up front, and he scored 7 goals in his last 7 games. As far as Rangers are concerned, well, they stretched their lead at the top of the Premier Division to 3 points with that 3-2 win over Motherwell on Saturday. But still no Richard Gough. He's still being treated for a back injury. And also out tonight, as we heard from Walter Smith, Ali McCoist with a recurrence of that calf strain. That really has been troublesome for him recently. So Walter Smith starts tonight with Andy Gorham, behind a three of Craig Moore, Gordon Petric and Alan McLaren. A midfield of Stuart McCall, Paul Gascoigne and Ian Ferguson, with David Robertson supporting on the left. And up front, Charlie Miller through the middle, with Brian Laudrup and Peter Van Vossen wide. Back to you, Richard.
Davey, thanks very much. Broadwood tonight is our venue. Tennant Scottish Cup, 4th round tie. Clyde against Rangers. Here's a famous old boy from Clyde as well. Played a lot of his football south of the border more recently. Pat Nevin. He's with David Carton.
Clyde versus Rangers, Scottish Cup. Can Clyde do it?
No, they've got a chance. It's an outside chance, you know. But they've been playing pretty good this season from all the reports, and I still keep in close touch with a lot of the Clyde lads, you know, a lot of the supporters. And if they play well and give a good account of themselves, I'll be happy for them.
Who's the main man for Clyde tonight?
Well, there's quite a few. Obviously, Charlie. You want to think Charlie's going to do something special, and he'll be built up for it, and he'll be excited about it. And I'm dying to see him again.
Prediction?
Maybe Rangers will scrape through with a last-minute goal.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Thanks a lot.
Maybe. Steve Archibald and Craig Brown are our guests here tonight. You were just talking in the last break there, Steve, about the goalkeeper, John Hillcoat. What are your feelings about him from, A, the point of view of his ability, and secondly, has he got the temperament for a night like this?
I think he's got the ability. I think he's a young goalkeeper. This is his first real season as really a number one, and it'll take him a bit of time to settle in. But I like him. I think he's got potential. But tonight will be a big test for him. I'm sure it'll be a big test. He'll be nervous. If he gets a touch early on, if Clyde hold things nice and tight, not for 20 minutes, for half an hour, I'd say, not the first 20 minutes, for half an hour, then he can go on to have a game. But it'll be a test for him early on.
Is he not prone to getting beaten from free kicks?
Well,
you did bend one past him recently, I understand.
Well, I did, but it was only from about 25 yards.
Deflected.
And it took a deflection, did it?
And the wind caught it and whipped it. Yes, I had a lot of help on it.
But you think there's the ability there, do you?
Yeah, I think he's got natural ability, yes. But it'll be a big test, as you say, for his temperament and his control tonight.
So he needs a good start, Craig.
Yeah, I think so. He's not all that young. You know, he's been with St Mirren. Alex Smith signed him for St Mirren as a youngster. And then he was transferred to Dunfermline. He was 5 years at Dunfermline, although he never really established himself in the first team. So he'll be 22, 23, I would guess. And we've had him with youth international squads, so good physique, good hands. And if his temperament is good tonight, I think we might get an outstanding display from young John.
Yeah, he's been here for a couple of years. He was number 2 to Les Fridge the past couple of years, and Les Fridge has now moved on, and he's staking his claim. So tonight's a massive game for him, really.
Rangers firm favourites to win this one tonight, but the rest of the cup odds make interesting reading. 11 to 10 on Rangers, 7 to 4 Celtic, 8 to 1 Aberdeen. Is there an outsider there you might fancy, Steve?
In the cup, yeah, there's always an outsider. I don't know. Maybe Aberdeen.
Well, I'm going to go beyond that. I live in Ayrshire, and I'm going to think Kilmarnock might be an outsider. I'm going to their match against Hearts on Saturday, and I've been asked to do the cup draw afterwards. So you just let me know who you want. The teams involved. But there's the Scottish Cup odds. Clyde are a good pound on there at 250 to 1.
What's their best chance tonight, do you think?
7 to 2 for the draw.
You fancy the draw?
Well, I think they would be pushed to get a draw, but it's not out with the bounds of possibility. You know, in the way back in 1980, you referred to, I mean, we were struggling a wee bit in the league, and we were in the old second division at the time. Rangers were in the first division, John Gregg the manager, and we led 2-1 in the game and looked like causing an upset, but Rangers...
It wasn't to be.
It wasn't to be. Equaliser.
So let's take you back to well, they tell me it's 1977, 1877 it could be, I think. Manager of Clyde then, Craig Brown.
Archibald's in that, I would think.
I think Archibald's somewhere around there. Back row, second from the left.
There he is.
Hey, I think Pat Nevin was somewhere in that squad as well, wasn't he, at the time?
A year later.
No, just later. He came in later.
And as you said, you sold him on for an exorbitant fee of something approaching £20,000 to Aberdeen. The manager of Aberdeen at the time was Big Billy McNeil, who's waiting to talk to us tonight. Now, what's this they're telling me, Billy, about you thinking he was either a midfield player or a sweeper? Is that a true story?
Not at all. The problem we had with him, he wasn't a good traveller, Stevie, in those days, and of course Aberdeen was the last club he should have joined, but nevertheless, it worked out all right in the end, didn't it?
It didn't half. You sold him on with something of a profit when eventually he went, or Aberdeen did. Alex Ferguson did, didn't he?
That's right, yeah. And you know something, Richard, he never ever came up with a commission, that man, you know. But see what you can do for me tonight, will you?
And what are we looking at tonight, do you think, then, Billy? Clyde against Rangers. Craig here is saying that it would be nice. Got half a fancy for a draw. Can you go that far?
No, I'm afraid I can't. I think realistically it should be a fairly easy tie for Rangers. But, you know, in the Cup, you say that only happens 1 in 100 times that a big team gets upset. Maybe this is that night, but realistically, I think that Rangers will win comfortably.
And the conditions, Billy? Is it right for
football? The conditions are excellent, yes. They're excellent, and I think that's to Clyde's disadvantage in some ways and to Rangers' advantage. It's a good pitch, it looks in good nick, and I think it'll suit the big club.
Live tonight from Sky Sports, the home of football, we have Scottish Tenants Cup, 4th round action. Clyde against Rangers. Clyde, as we've said, struggling in the second against Rangers, top of the Premier. All the action comes up live when we come back. Welcome back, Broadwood. Tonight, Clyde against Rangers, live here on Sky Sports. It's the Scottish Cup 4th round tie. And we're in the company of Craig Brown, the Scottish team manager, and Steve Archibald. Final thoughts then, Steve. Are you as brave as Craig here? Can you see anything other than a Rangers win?
No, at the end of the game, no, I don't think we'll see a Clyde victory. I think the very most that Clyde could hope for, as Craig said, is a draw. But even that's pushing it. I think the size of the park, which is the biggest park in Scotland, bigger than Hampden, bigger than Ibrox, will be to Rangers' favour, should be to Rangers' favour, and I think they'll make a lot of use of it.
And Billy McNeill made a fair point there about the surface as well, Craig. That too should suit Rangers, but yeah. you fancy the draw?
Well, my heart's rolling in my head here.
We can handle that.
I know. I don't think it'll be a draw, but I hope it'll be a draw for Clyde's sake. And I just think they might manage to sneak it. But Steve's made a very valid point. Good big pitch, definite advantage to Rangers, and their experience obviously should see them through.
Well, it's a big night in Cumbernauld. It's Clyde against Rangers. Let's join Billy McNeill and Jock Brown.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, you join us as the teams emerge from the tunnel below us. To a terrific response from the capacity 6,300 crowd. These Rangers fans looking a little bit concerned. They will be conscious of banana skins like this. It's happened to Rangers before. Against Berwick in 67, Hamilton Accies in 87. So the Clyde team, confirmation there, a combination of experience and youth. Charlie Nicholas, of course, Ian Angus, Graham Watson and Keith Knox provide the experience, and the young Jim Thompson, a very promising centre-half, Tommy Harrison, Martin O'Neill and Eddie Annand, the youthful members on the side, with some prospects of a future in the game.
It'll be interesting to see if during the game that Charlie Nicholas can steal off his marker and pick up the ball, because Charlie will enjoy this occasion. He loves the big occasion. He'll be there to settle the young players, but if he can pick up a bit of room, he might well cause Rangers a little bit of difficulty. But I just wonder if they've got the capability in midfield and at the back to prevent Rangers from doing well. But very promising young centre-half, young Thompson, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares tonight.
So Rangers, on the other hand, turning out a team of 10 internationals. Only Charlie Miller yet to play for his country, but there's no Gordon Dury, who scored 17 goals this season, no McCoist, 15 goals, and no Richard Gough. But it's a third start for Peter Van Bossen, who's likely to play wide on the right.
Well, it's interesting because I think that's Rangers' difficulty in it. There's no recognised goal scorer as such. Perhaps Laudrup can be asked to do that role tonight, and I think we'll see Charlie Miller playing as the front striker, and he'll be joined at times by Van Bossen and Laudrup. But the important player obviously is Paul Gascoigne. He's been in magnificent form recently. If he gets a bit of room, he can destroy any team, and to think that Clyde players won't have faced, or very often won't have faced, a player of his capability.
Paul Gascoigne, in fact, the highest scoring Rangers player on the field tonight with 10 goals. Kenny Clark from Paisley is the match referee, who had the misfortune to be involved in the incident whereby Duncan Ferguson finished up imprisoned for an incident in which he was not ordered off, the game against Wraith Rovers 2 years ago. So referee Clark is satisfied that the formalities have been completed properly, and it will be Clyde to start the match, and these opening exchanges will be absolutely crucial for these young players in the Clyde side. So Nicholas involved straight away. Ian Angus gets a touch also, both cup winners in the past, and Gascoigne's involved straight away. Here's Goran Petric. David Robertson taking up his familiar position wide on the left-hand side. And pushing forward more and more this season with a three-man central defence for Rangers. And the first touch for Andy Gorham. So Petric and Spearman at the back in the Richard Gough role. Craig Moore is taking up his position on the right-hand side as a marker. Although the Clyde formation makes it a little more difficult. McLaren's header, turned back by Laudrup. Now Gascoigne. Well, the playing surface looks to be excellent. The conditions overhead could scarcely be better. Miller putting pressure on young Jim Thompson, the Clyde centre-half. So Miller has been played in midfield most of the season, but he's been played up front as a sort of emergency striker in recent matches with McCoist and Jury out of the side. So the third stand at Broadwood in the process of construction there behind Andy Gorham. Headed on by Ferguson. Former Clyde player, of course, Ian Ferguson. This is Gascoigne. Cut up well by Thompson. So Thompson, the centre-half, with a very important task to hold this defence together. Back with McLaren. Gascoigne's little flick. Miller was quickly on the ball. On the way there by Graham Ferguson. Keith Knox, rather, who made the clearance. Experienced player. Number 2 playing left back. There he is. Nicholas with the pass. Kenny Gillis intercepts that ball from Robertson. And Graham Ferguson now looks for the long ball forward. No height on that, though. Hustling tactics being imposed there in Paul Gascoigne, and now Clyde with a chance to come forward. Angus has Annan breaking to the left. This is McCall for Rangers. Rangers playing very patiently and slowly from midfield in the early stages of the match, looking to turn on the pace in the closing third. It's a good tackle by O'Neill. Under a fly from Charlie Miller, the two number 7s together. Back again with Alan McLaren. Laudrup has switched to the Rangers' right. That won't reach him, though. There's Knox. And a late challenge by Knox on McCall. A little bit high with that effort. Free kick's been taken quickly, and Laudrup has possession. Well, no question there would be a great deal of thought put into this match tactically by the Clyde manager, Alex Smith. They'll thought things out very carefully. Interesting to see Ian Angus there showing Brian Laudrup inside, immediately had possession. No question of him being allowed to do damage on the flank if possible. That's Thompson. Now Nicholas. Gets the treatment from the Rangers supporters, of course, for his Celtic connections. Angus and Nicholas combine again in midfield. Ferguson comes forward. Angus made a good run through the middle. That's cut off well, though, by Petric for Rangers. Van Bossen's touch was a shade clumsy, but Robertson did well. An obvious one, that, from O'Neill. Well read by Ian Ferguson. Barrett's header. Well, the opening nervous stages of the match. Negotiated comfortably so far by Clyde.
Impressively so. For me, Rangers seem to be trying to play right through the heart of that defence, and it's a very congested area because both Van Bossen and Laudrup were pushed themselves into the middle towards Charlie Miller. It surprised me just a little bit. I would have thought that they would try to stretch them, play them wide, make the pitch big for Clyde and start to get passes going, but they seem to be content on playing through the middle.
Nicholas with a free kick. Jim Thompson, the centre half, is in the area. So too is Ian Angus. That was good defending by Moore. And Thompson guilty of a push. claiming the shoulder charge, but out of reach really for the ball. Free kick taken quickly by Rangers. Across the back three it goes. Moore to Petric and McLaren. Good challenge again by Ferguson on Miller. Here's Nicholas again, seeing a lot of the ball early on. Picking out the run made by Gillis. Here's Martin O'Neill. Showing a lot of confidence there as he stepped away from Ian Ferguson. 20-year-old Martin O'Neill, already featured in the under-21 international squad. Works unkindly there for Clyde, but they have the throw. And left here to Graham Ferguson. A very interesting formation Clyde are playing. 4 at the back, just 3 in the middle, and 1 up front with 2 off. That's Nicholas and Tommy Harrison. Good pass from McLaren. That's Loudrup. Robertson well forward, showing too much of that to Graham Ferguson. Disappointment there for Robertson. Space in midfield for Gascoigne. Good running also by McCall on the flank. Dangerous ball in, carefully turned away by Thompson. Nicholas to Knox. Tackle made eventually by Ian Ferguson. Really not necessary because it didn't appear as though Knox could really go anywhere with that.
No, he's run a long way back to make the challenge, and I think he's maybe been a little bit unfairly punished there. I honestly feel that he got his foot to the ball.
Well, a free kick it is to Clyde, which Nicholas will take. Headed away by Petric. Here's Loudrup. Van Bossen breaking on the right. He's very nimble indeed. Miller is the only player in the middle for Rangers, so Van Bossen goes it alone, and he's halted superbly there by Keith Knox. Very good tackle by the 31-year-old.
Good opportunity and good pass down the wide position. I think this is really where Van Bossen should think about playing, but I think he hesitates just a little bit here. I think in that position, 1 against 1, go at your man, but he in actual fact runs into the covering defender and loses the chance. All credit to Clyde though, they're working very, very hard, and they don't look as though there's any lack of confidence about them.
Obviously concerned about Rangers in the wide areas. David Robertson hugging that left touchline. Loudrup currently on the right. Good closing down though in midfield by Clyde. This is Gascoigne. Attacking Gillis. Well, John Hillcoat will feel better for that. Not a difficult save, but he'll be happy to have taken it so cleanly from Gascoigne.
It's an indication of Gascoigne's ability to go past player. He goes past player there, and he would strike straight at the goalkeeper and wouldn't have done him any harm, but it's an indication of his ability to go past people. Tremendous.
Well, clearly the man causing concern to Clyde, Gascoigne in the middle of the field. Petric looking for Charlie Miller. Graham Watson with him. This is Van Bossen. Away from Graham Ferguson. That's good play by Van Bossen. Turn pass attempted by Ian Ferguson. Now it's Loudrup. Great ball in. That's Charlie Miller. Well, David Robertson, you see it closing in on the goalkeeper. Charlie Miller got a good head glance on this.
But it's good wing play, isn't it? He goes past the fullback, gets in a good ball, and not all that far from being opening goal. But again, the goalkeeper's alert, and his confidence will be built up because of the couple of saves he's had to make.
Now it's across to Robertson again. Some backtracking work required from Tommy Harrison, number 6. Here's Ferguson. And now Petric. Short comes Miller. Combining well with Van Bossen. That was handballed by Thompson. Well, the referee, I think, may take action against Jim Thompson for that. It did appear to be deliberate. Indeed, the yellow card has been shown to the Clyde centre-back. That puts him under severe pressure so early in the match. Frustration there for Thompson.
It was a nice touch by Van Bossen, in actual fact. He flicked it round the defender, went to go after it, and the referee had no option but to show the yellow card.
This could be for Gascoigne. The referee ensuring the wall goes back. Van Bossen given his orders by Gascoigne. Did he leave this, I think, perhaps? Did he? No. Petric is also lining it up. There's Gascoigne. Scrambled away by Hillcoat. The keeper did just enough there to fingered it right onto the post.
It certainly caught him a full stretch. I don't think there was a great deal of power in the free kick, but nevertheless the goalkeeper once again has done his job positively. But while Clyde have started impressively, so have Rangers. They're not in any stage of panic. They're prepared to make passes. They're prepared to try and stretch Clyde, and they've got the players in the wide position when they need them. What they're doing in actual fact is both wide players are taking their turns to go through the middle with Charlie Miller, and they seem to be patient on.
Good hit on there by Anand. This is Nicholas. Anand again. To firm that pass to Angus, catching him about knee-high pace. That's good control from Knox. McCall. Gascoigne back to Craig Moore, has just returned from international duty with Australia. McLaren's pass picks out Laudrup, his trust again to the left. Freedom as usual to go wandering. Good return flick from Van Bossen. And Clyde hanging together well in midfield there. Thompson made the first challenge, but some determined work again defensively by Clyde. Eddie Anand also putting pressure on. Smith, the Clyde manager, very concerned about the ease with which David Robertson being picked out on that left-hand side. This is Van Bossen. Good play. Jim Thompson put his ground there well to cut that off. Van Bossen has shown his menace again, and he really is trying to get back to full match fitness and sharpness after a long layoff following his spell in Turkey. This is Harrison. Outside him is Gillis. There's Nicholas. Got off well by Petric. Angus trying to bring that down for the shot at goal. He did well in the end. Clyde serving notice once again. Well, Ian Angus, who scored in that 1991 Cup final for Motherwell against Dundee United, trying again.
It's a nice little bit of build-up by Clyde initially. The shot wasn't ever going to test Andy Gorham, but nevertheless, a little indication that Rangers can't afford to be slipshod at the back, and Clyde are certainly going to enjoy themselves tonight, and irrespective of what's going to happen, they're going to have a good night.
Well, Andy Gorham's had some work to do, and they may not have expected to be too busy this evening. Clyde taking a lot of credit out of these opening exchanges. Thompson's free kick, Anand attacking the ball with Moore. Here's O'Neill, couldn't reach that ahead of Van Bossen, but he gets it back from the Dutchman. The good ball in, just out of reach for Anand. Well, Rangers have started this match very calmly and patiently, but they may now be realising this is not by any means an easy task, although Laudrup has been given an opportunity here. There's a well-timed tackle by Thompson, and that wasn't quite so well-timed. Martin O'Neill. The tackle was a bad one. It was high. Peter Van Bossen felt it.
I don't think Martin O'Neill can have any complaints here. It's not only late and high, but I'm sure that was quite painful as well.
A lecture was enough. There was no booking for young Martin O'Neill. So some treatment required for Van Bossen. Kenny Clark, a FIFA official now, very highly rated. Solicits down Paisley. So from Paisley, what's in that area of the country. Here's Van Bossen grimacing there as he gets back to his feet.
Was that a hello and welcome to Broadwood, do you think?
He's had a few welcomes to Scotland already. Is his third full match. Here's Goran Petric. Loudon. 2 men across. Knox has held them up well. Well, again, credit due to Keith Knox for the quality of the defending. Stayed on his feet, didn't dive in, blocked the cross.
That's right, they've done it very well in actual fact. 2 experienced players, Knox and Angus, they're out there together, they compensate for each other, and Keith Knox handled it very well and didn't give them the space to get across in.
O'Neill chasing. Robertson will win the race though. That's Ian Ferguson. He realises how quick Robertson is. Promising for Rangers. Knox again on the clearing header. Straight to Gascoigne. Back with McCall. Ferguson showed too much of that. Here's Miller. Got allowed him again. Shown inside by Watson. Was the handball against Angus from McCall, but really very half-hearted. Here's Nicholas. Oh, it's great play. Pulling the clock back here, Charlie Nicholas. Excellent play. And the pass just too long for Martin O'Neill's run. Well, they say his skill never goes.
Certainly doesn't go with this man. He's tremendous ability on the ball, but he waited for the run a long time, and by the time that he got the run, it was going to be a very difficult pass, but very skillful.
Here's McLaren now, who came forward in such good effect against Motherwell on Saturday. Scored a fine goal. Van Bossen. Well, another heavy tackle on the Dutchman. Graham Ferguson this time, the culprit. He's having a tough time, Van Bossen.
He's working very hard in these wide positions, and he's prepared to go at defender with the ball. It's always a difficult situation, and deservedly got a foul there.
Packed penalty box for Gascoigne. Whipped in superbly. Won by Graham Watson inside the box. And David Robertson never properly set for that. So a bit of respite here for Clyde, which will be welcome, I suspect, Billy, although they have competed very well indeed. They're still seeing a little bit of Loudrum and Van Bossen now.
That's right, they've been very well prepared, and obviously they're trying to channel Rangers into covering players, and they've worked very hard to get back, and you wonder how long they can accommodate that. Rangers certainly don't look in any way anxious at all.
Great play again from Nicholas. Angus with a pass for Annan, who's offside. Well, a very tight decision that, but the far side linesman, John McElhinney, his flag up instantly. Here's Gascoigne. Robertson again allowed to advance a long way in that left-hand side without a challenge being made. Here's Loudrum. Well tackled by Ferguson. Once again, the youngster standing up very well to the challenge. Staying on his feet as long as he could. Clyde competing so well in the middle of the field. They flooded that area to make life difficult for Rangers. It also makes life difficult for Eddie Annan, their solitary striker. Ferguson. Van Bossen. Facing Angus and Knox. That was deflected, it'll be a corner kick. Van Bossen looking for his first goal in Rangers colours. Certainly has been troublesome to that Clyde defence tonight already. He's certainly working very hard, and the thing that I always like to see a wide player who's prepared to go and take defenders on, and this fella's certainly doing that. Gascoigne again with a set piece. Petric being marked by Thompson inside the area. McLaren. Splendid header, straight down the throat of Hillcoat though. No wonder the goalkeeper's relieved.
It's a well-worked corner. You know, McLaren drifts off a marker. Once again, the goalkeeper's right in the spot. Maybe this is going to be his night.
Pressure from Annan, that's why there's a throw to Clyde. There's Keith Knox, Clyde's most expensive signing at £10,000. Bannon giving a problem there to Petric. Blocked in the end by Nicholas, so a throw it is to Clyde. Angus with the cross. Harrison trying to control that and keep the ball in play. Couldn't make it. Well, Tommy Harrison arriving here from Hearts and Dunfermline, and an outstanding boy player. Looked as though he had a very big future, but now trying to rebuild a career. 22 years old he is. Thompson's header. Moore and Petric together, closing in on Anand. Now Gascoigne has Robertson free on the left. Time the pass, just a little bit late, and it's free kick to Clyde. The header doesn't count from Van Vossen. Gascoigne delayed that a fraction too long.
Tremendous run by Gascoigne, but there you see it, just marginally offside. There's not a lot in it, but perhaps good defending, because the Clyde players just seemed to come out there and played one or two Rangers players offside. But what a tremendous run by Gascoigne. Ball just ran perhaps away from him just a bit at the end.
Nicholas now has Anand on the inside right channel. That's cut off easily by Petric. Ferguson reacting to a call from Stuart McCall on the near side. This is Moore. It's only his third game in the Rangers first team since October, but he has had that spell in Australia with the national side. Good footwork shown by Miller. Clarence pass, a good one. That's Robertson. Excellent football from Rangers. McLaren's pass and Robertson's finish. Clyde were opened up there.
Tremendous passing it. Good bit of control, a good bit of running, and an indication of his ability to shoot. On the target, I don't think John Hillcoat would have known anything about it.
So half of the first half over, a quarter of the match gone, and Clyde still on level terms. If they were short of confidence in the ranks before the match, they will be doing a lot better now, I suspect. Here's Annan going in behind Moore. A good recovery challenge there by Craig Moore. There's McCall. Miller has come off his marker. Chased there by Graham Watson. Here's Van Vossen. He's very quick indeed. Looking up for support in the middle. He's slow in arriving. And that's why Ferguson had the chance to make that tackle. Well, this lack of a genuine through-the-middle striker for Rangers, certainly evident from time to time, certainly was there.
It certainly is, and it's a difficulty they've got to surmount, because Clyde are settling in nicely and give an indication that they're not going to be terrified with this game.
Well, Keith Knox here getting lots of advice. The ball so long in the air, no Rangers player to challenge him. Gascoigne robbed neatly there by Nicholas. Petric with a header. Here's Gascoigne. Into the gap it goes for Laudrup. The goalkeeper is back on his feet. Full stretch there, got some help too from his teammates in defence. Well, Gascoigne showing great awareness there to release Laudrup. Clyde standing firm again in defence. It's been a remarkable opening spell from the second division side. Good play from Nicholas. There's Gillis. Space on the far side to exploit. Good running forward by O'Neill to take a pass there from Angus. Right, McLaren wins that particular battle with O'Neill. Rangers playing football from defence. Van Vossen out of luck there. His control let him down. He's put his hip out there as Thompson arrived. So Clyde sending players forward to take advantage of this free kick played by Thompson. Now Nicholas. Impeded there by Moore. It's a free kick again. Now this is where Clyde can be very dangerous. Charlie Nicholas will take charge of this set piece.
He's certainly enjoying himself. Look at that. He knows exactly. Looks up and he takes the defender on brilliantly. Gives himself a bit of room. But you're right. He's very accurate with these free kicks.
Far post ball. Comfortably won and cleared off the line by McLaren. That's Gillis with his shot. Chance now for Ferguson. Closed down by Van Bossen. Thompson is still forward. Challenge there for Gordon, the big keeper from Eddie Annan, and the young striker penalised there for his challenge on Andy Gordon. So it's unruffled.
But this is a very close thing. Well worked free kick away at the back post, eliminates all the defenders. Good working work there, but initial one, the header might well have gone into the goal. It's an indication of the confidence that Clyde have got now. But a very well worked free kick and had Rangers defence in all sorts of trouble.
There's Nicholas again, revelling in the atmosphere tonight. O'Neill. Oh, we had Annan clear in the centre, on the penalty spot there to take a pass. There was an opportunity there. An offside flag has halted the Clyde move, but Nicholas is really revelling in this.
He's in the middle of everything. He's enjoying the big time occasion. The chance here got blocked down, but just maybe a little bit of impetuousness that got them in an offside position.
Robertson's cut back, balls straight to Gillis. Determined challenge on Van Bossen. Now Ferguson. Back it goes to Alan McLaren. Here's Moore. Ian Ferguson. Forward to Gascoigne. Robertson has Van Bossen available on the left. An awkward ball angled across the face of goal, just out of reach for Charlie Miller. John Hillcoat judged that correctly.
It was a superb ball in. He pushed it across the face of defenders, and I really always like to see strikers going in there and break the back and they're sliding across it. You know, Charlie Miller was maybe just a little bit hesitant, but tremendous ball from Van Bossen. But we've got a real cup tie in our hands now.
It's well timed by Anand. Moore recovers. Mistake by Thompson. Here's Miller. Now Laudrup. Cole goes outside him. He's not required. Here's Laudrup. And the header from Van Bossen goes wide. This time Clyde were opened up by the skills of Laudrup.
Brilliant run. He shows the ball to the defender and takes it. Look at the way he plays right to the back post, and really I think that a player of his quality and ability should be hitting the target from there. He set it up in the play for him and he misses out. Doesn't even test the goalkeeper, but what a run from Brian Laudrup.
Annan with a layoff. Graham Watson has to recover here. He's in trouble. Now Laudrup again. Keith Knox was back. Well, Clyde managed to get numbers back into that box whenever they require them. Good play from defence. Nicholas there to Gillis. Ferguson breaking on the right-hand side. A long ball looking for Annan. That's ambitious though. Craig Moore wins it. Call to Laudrup. Oh, Kenny Gillis there. Dangerous play, I think. Dipping his head too low. That's the decision of referee Clark. Indirect free kick. And all Robertson could do was get his boot to that, but couldn't control it and keep it in play. Back with Ferguson. Great play by Nicholas. Aaron trying to use his pace against Petric. A very tough task this for Eddie Anand up front, Billy.
It's almost impossible in actual fact, but he's working very hard at the minute. But you know, every now and then, Charlie Nicholas or Harrison get that little bit of space, and Nicholas in particular is playing some delightful balls and some delightful passes. And you always just have that feeling that if Rangers are careless, then they might pay the cost.
David Robertson with the cross. Thompson's clearance straight to Ian Ferguson. Well, a little carelessness there by Ian Ferguson, the former Clyde player. And the throw it is to Clyde. He'll welcome again this spell of possession. Been a thoroughly satisfactory half hour in the Clyde point of view, this.
I think it's been a tremendous opening half hour by Clyde. You know, one thing that they have done successfully, they've silenced the Rangers crowd because they're working very hard. Okay, there's been one or two chances at their end, but you know, they by no means do they look the underdogs at this minute.
Charlie Miller, there's Gascoigne inside, still Miller. Overdoing it, Paul Gascoigne giving a bit of stick there. That's who Miller's listening to.
He's got a point because Gascoigne's made a tremendous run, and he sees it here. He can make the pass here, but he runs into trouble. All credit to the Clyde midfield players. They're working hard to supplement the defenders, but really Charlie should have made a pass earlier there.
Corner kick count going Rangers' way. Gascoigne flights it in, and Graham Ferguson wins it for Clyde. Oh, Van Bossen thought that Gascoigne was in stilts, I think. Stage where the Rangers supporters start to become a little bit concerned, but they do have these nightmares to reflect on. Losing to Hamilton Accies against Finis-led side of 1987 at Ibrox for 1-0, making Adrian Sprott into a folk hero, and Berwick in 1967. Sammy Reid the goal scorer, and these things happen every so often. Clyde are certainly impressed in the opening half hour. Now Laudrup. That's McCall. Good goalkeeping again by Hillcoat. Miller was waiting to tap that in.
It's a nice little reverse pass, but all credit to the defender there, but the goalkeeper stands up well. He gets himself, he gets a hand to it, and saves the day. And this is what Clyde have got to watch. You know, they've got to be careful they don't just end up being pegged in their own box, but certainly up till now the defending has been without improvement.
Back it goes to Jordan Petric. Plenty of time, space for McLaren. Only Annan putting the back three under pressure. Van Bossen leaves that to Ferguson, but Kenny Gillis wasn't prepared to hang about. And now it's with Petric. Ferguson picks out Laudrup. It's closed down rapidly by Knox. Challenge made by Gillis. Ferguson's header. Free kick there for the foul on Ian Ferguson. Petey on his way forward by Tommy Harrison. So Rangers have another chance with Gascoigne to create. Alan McLaren has gone forward. The only central defender to do so. Deflections all the way. Gascoigne trying a very long-range, ambitious effort. Gillis in a tangle, and he is penalised and holding the ball. Indirect free kick. Gascoigne will take charge again. I think intended for Peter Van Bossen, who had checked out of a run in from the far post area. Gascoigne explaining himself to his teammates. Van Bossen was caught on his heels there.
He's got the space there, and the ball's going into that back post, but he's on his heels, he's not alert, and if there was a chance here, then it goes a begging. But it's becoming frustrating for Rangers because without a natural centre forward, without a natural goal scorer, you begin to wonder where the goals have come from. They've had plenty of opportunities and got themselves in a good position. But when you've not got an out-and-out goal scorer, it sometimes becomes very difficult to get the breakthrough.
Well, a fascinating David and Goliath contest, and a very interesting characteristic there, the first half action areas. Midfield, of course, the principal area where all these Clyde players are congregated. Action also in this area. Back with David Robertson. Swept away by Knox, only as far as Ian Ferguson leaves it to McCall. Good turn by Miller. Again, very carefully watched by Hillcoat into the side netting. He seems to have very good awareness of his goal, Hillcoat. It's his angles sorted out.
The early touches have helped him, but what a lovely turn with Charlie Miller there. And, you know, while the goalkeeper knows it's going away, lovely little turn. Shot perhaps wasn't going to disturb him, and I think that's one of the difficulties Rangers face just now. They're getting those type of chances that a natural goal scorer is going to hit the target with.
Keith Knox breaking, chased back by Van Bossen. Knox clearly realises Van Bossen had gone down there, so he has a chance to go forward. That's McLaren's header. Good running again by Van Bossen. Arthur O'Neill doing a good bit of defensive work, racing back fully 30 yards to make that challenge. Harrison losing out to Ferguson. Nicholas making tackles, the full range of his talents displayed tonight.
Well, I've known him a long time and I don't remember too many tackles won.
Waiting till the ripe old age of 34 on that one. McLaren's pass. Robertson to Laudrup. Ferguson was caught out there by Clyde. An excellent tackle there by Jim Thompson. That was superbly timed by the big centre half. Looked at the Laudrup, was in the clear.
Beautiful pass, and really it's a rescue ball, but look at the pace of Laudrup. But all credit to the young centre half. He stands his ground and gets his foot to it.
Gascoigne sets that up for Ferguson. Could scarcely have been closer. Clyde have survived again. They will be content to keep Rangers at long range.
They've done that quite successfully. They've kept him on the outside the box, but good shot from Ferguson, but not all that far past. But that's the type of thing that you've got to hit the target with. Test the goalkeeper and keep him under pressure.
Moore's head up. Charlie Miller trying to rescue that and committing a foul on Keith Knox, who knocks the microphone over. Well, a damaged effects microphone. Keith Knox plays it long up the line for Anand, who's with Moore again. Well, let's look at the goal attempts. 11 for Rangers, 3 for Clyde, and let's see how accurate they've been. Well, Clyde have been accurate 2 out of 3. Rangers not quite so accurate, 4 out of 11.
Playing without a recognised striker and the main striker, you know, you've got to hit the target, particularly early in the game. And you know, they've had good opportunities, Rangers, but they just haven't been able to hit that target with the correct type of shot.
There's Van Bossen. Miller lays it back. Ferguson now to Gascoigne. There, Ferguson's clearance, collected by McCall. Moore. Laudrup, his control tested there by the pass from Moore. Charlie Miller thought he couldn't make that. Slightly overhit the pass from Laudrup. Well, Alex Smith deserves immense credit for the tactical arrangements he's made with his team.
They've done very well and they're prepared to stand their ground here, and I think with that win behind Rangers in this half, if you overhit the pass a little bit, then it clears away.
Back from Annan, survives appeals to handball from the Rangers players. Angus playing it along again. Annan gives chase as willingly as ever. Making space for himself, looks for a runner coming to the right. Ferguson obliges, but he was matched by Van Bossen. Ian Ferguson took up good position ahead. This is Gascoigne, who's been quieter in the last quarter of an hour or so. Taken over behind by Thompson, penalised by referee Clark. Van Bossen to Laudrup. Van Bossen again. Gascoigne makes the run in inside left position. Taking on Harrison. Graham Watson helps it on. Away for the corner. Once again, Rangers lacking. Target man in the centre there for these crosses.
It's Peace Gascoigne is the passive defender, laid it on a plate, and there's no one there to take advantage of it.
That's Ian Ferguson. The offside flag is up against Gascoigne. Well, I think you can suggest he doesn't agree with the linesman on his side.
It's not a lot in it, in actual fact. When the ball is played forward, it might well have been Charlie Miller. It was coming out there, and perhaps that's what Paul Gascoigne found hard to understand.
Header by McLaren. Away from Van Bossen. Well, the closing stage of the first half, an indication that the Rangers fans are becoming a little bit restless. Gascoigne, little flick on. Miller will return pass. Promising again for Rangers. Laudrup free on the right. Miller through the centre. Laudrup. Header out. O'Neill. Nicholas calmly keeps possession for Graham Ferguson's benefit. Planned up early, but couldn't make nothing of that. Petric plays it long, and Charlie Miller has Laudrup again in space. The Clyde players funnel back in midfield. Van Bossen holds off the challenge from Thompson. Armour. Good running by Van Bossen. Excellent handling again by Hillcoat. What a match he's having.
It was a lovely move from Rangers, good pass, and Van Bossen made a good run. Then you're looking for your striker to go across the front of the goalkeeper. You know, and I think that's the biggest problem the Rangers got. They've got to counteract that, but all credit to the goalkeeper. He's played well and enjoyed himself as well.
Nicholas sends it away early there for Harrison. Chance to take on McLaren. Good calm defending by McLaren. Kept his eye on the ball, stood up well. It's back with O'Neill. He's away from Ferguson. Petric chesting it down. And McLaren launching the ball upfield. That's Laudrup. Now Miller. Eased out of that by Thompson. Still a good match, the big centre half. Keith Knox did well, knew what Nicholas was. This is Ian Angus. Nicholas finds O'Neill in space. Ferguson breaking on the right, promising again. But Clyde, they have players in the box for the cross. One of them is Anand. Helped on by Moore, retrieved. Nicholas. Twisting and turning, trying to turn the clock back, really. Gascoigne breaks. Harrison lays it back to Ferguson. O'Neill. Ferguson again. Now Ian Angus. He had time. Perhaps couldn't believe quite how much time he had. Clyde finishing the first half with a flourish.
It's the same as the last attack that Clyde had. They've got a player over on that side, and really, Ian Angus is experienced enough to know that he had a bit of time there, and it was a time to perhaps test Andy Gorham.
Here's Graham Watson. Overhang a pass for O'Neill. Well, I wonder what odds the bookies would have given for a 0-0 scoreline at half-time in the match. Rangers massive odds on to win this match, but are we on the brink of a real sensation? Van Bossen. Taking on Graham Watson. Ball is all on the pass, retrieves it well. Here's Ian Ferguson. And again, solid defending, but the clearance reaches Laudrup from Knox. Well attacked by Martin O'Neill. Gascoigne hoping that would drop from the volley. Brown's pass, here's Laudrup. Shot on target. The combined efforts of Angus and Knox, combined ages 65, working so hard against Laudrup. And it's half-time at Broadwood. No goals in the first half, despite the efforts of Peter van Vossen for Rangers on both flanks, creating openings. But Rangers have faced an inspired goalkeeper in John Hillcoat, who's been quite outstanding throughout the first half. And this is a real cup tie. We're looking forward to the second half. It's Clyde 0, Rangers 0.
Well, so far so good for Clyde. Good half. Although Rangers have had the best of it, in fairness, and that's underlined by the match facts. 12 attempts from Rangers, on target with 4. Clyde with 4 attempts at goal, on target with 2. They haven't won a corner yet. Just the one booking to date, Jim Thompson of Clyde. And let's have a look at the action areas. Well, dominated by Rangers, who have had 61% of the possession. That's a tremendous amount. We're in the company tonight of Craig Brown, the Scottish team manager, and Steve Archibald. 7-1 you could have got on it being level at half-time, Craig, but there's a big smile on your face because they've done well today, haven't they, Clyde?
Done very well, yes, and it's 7-2, a draw at the end of the game. I think it's an interesting set of odds now. Clyde have done very well. Great tactics from Alex Smith. I think the way he's played Rangers, he hasn't chosen to man-mark Gascoigne. He's closed the space. He's forced Rangers into a choke defence, and they've found it difficult to make clear-cut chances. So, an excellent first half, I think, for Clyde.
The best, I think, of them, Steve, their chances have come from set pieces, haven't they? The free kick from Paul Gascoigne early, which your goalkeeper did well with.
Yeah, it was
eventually got down and got enough on it.
Excellent free kick, on target. Keeper's done well, pushed it onto the post, yeah. Good save. Keeper's got his eye in now. He's had a bit of action, and he's got his eye in, and he's looking good.
The corner that followed, I think, may have been from that particular incident when McLaren
peels off and gets a good header in, but Hillcoat's in the right place at the right time.
Are you impressed with what Clyde have done so far?
Craig's exactly right. They're leaving Anand up there on his own, and they're flooding areas with a lot of bodies, and it's very difficult for anybody to get through that.
61% of the possession, Rangers, and by far and away the best opportunities. Here's another, Van Vossen with a header at the far post. He's still looking for his first goal for Rangers. You'd have thought pre-match he might fancy it here, but not to date. They've coped with most things well, Craig, haven't they?
Very well. Clyde have got men, as Stevie says, behind the ball exceptionally well. And the Rangers have got few crosses from wide areas in, and I think crosses will cause Clyde problems. Even John Hillcoat, the goalkeeper's a wee bit dodgy in the cross ball sometimes, but I think they're defending exceptionally well. And Anand up front is causing a wee bit of problem to the Rangers backmen because of his industry. Wonderful vintage touches also from Charlie. You know, you've seen that. And Tommy Harrison, his partner in midfield, is doing well also. Look at Charlie here. You know, he's loving this, and the young boy's responding exceptionally well round about him.
We did say, Steve, didn't we, pre-match, a wonderful opportunity for Charlie Nicholas to remind us what he can do, and he has taken it.
Petric has to pay to get back in there. Charlie has sent him out the field and brought him back in again, and there's a great pass, and I honestly feel that the Clyde's player should have been quickly onto that, and that's a magnificent back heel.
Yeah, it shows great awareness. The thing that he's not got when he's on the ball is too many options in front of him to make the passes. That's the only thing he's not got, but he's making the most of what he does have, and he's having an excellent game so far, Charlie. And I think maybe with the wind at the back, Clyde could cause Rangers a problem in the second half.
This was their best chance.
Exactly. I don't know who it is at the back. I think it's maybe big Jim Thompson who's come up and knocked it across the face of the goal. Or Anand, but the shot from Gillis here, number 4, Kenny Gillis hits it brilliantly, and it's blocked by Petric, I think. Now that was the best striking goal of the game, I would say. And there's young Ferguson from the full-back position, number 11, coming up into an attacking slot.
But so far, as we said, so far so good. Now, are we getting a little bit overly ambitious here, Steve? If they find a way through, how uneasy are Rangers going to be about that?
No, well, as I say, they're going to have a bit of wind at the back now, and they've completed the first half. Their confidence must be high. The players must know they've done a good job in this first half, and they're confidently looking for a win. Clyde will at this stage.
Can they keep it up?
Although they won't go, and Alec will have them well clued in, and tactically he's spot on, and he'll have them told that they can't go flying forward, they have to be patient and build into it, because they can obviously get caught in the counter-attack. But they'll be going out in the second half looking to do something positive in this game, yep.
And you talked about industry. Can they keep that up for 90 minutes? Or the longer it goes, are Rangers more likely to get a hold of it?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think fitness-wise, Clyde will be very fit, physically fit. But there's an emotional drain on them, I'm sure, all week and the match itself. So towards the end, I would think they might become a bit weary, and we might need to send a taxi on for Charlie to get him about the field, you know. But Charlie has been outstanding, you know, everything he's done. He has not wasted one ball. He's a great outlet for the back players if they can find them. And if he can stick one through to the big boy, Anand, you might just get the freak goal that Clyde are looking for.
When you look at the amount of possession that Rangers have had and the goal opportunities that they've created for themselves, what will most disappoint Walter Smith about the scoreline?
Well, I think Walter, unfortunately, maybe this is a strange thing to say, is it, from a coach, but they're maybe playing too much football. Maybe if they put a few balls through the middle there and put pressure on the Clyde defenders and allowed Van Vossen to come in a bit to assist young Charlie Miller through the middle. That's what I would be tempted to do, and just put a few balls in and test the Clyde defence. Everything has been very studied from Rangers. I compliment them, but maybe it's not the way to win this cup tie.
I think that Clyde are not playing, they're not pushing up, They're sitting in there, they've got a lot of bodies in there, so to play balls over the top of them, very, very difficult, and it's not on really. The way they're playing is exactly right. So it's very difficult to put these balls in and try and turn them, test their pace and get in behind them. Therefore, everything's in front of them. They can just shuttle across and get bodies in. And Laudrup's not had too happy an evening so far. They're playing him exceptionally well. They're pushing him inside, and he's not getting too much joy.
It's a very interesting cup tie that we've got on our hands here. It's goalless at half-time. Clyde have done the job that they intended to so far. Can they keep it up, or can Rangers find a way through? We'll find out when we come back. Welcome back. Goalless at half-time. Clyde against Rangers, who have been out for some time, waiting for this second half to start. Clyde, as you can see, are just joining them. Let's us rejoin Billy McNeil and Jock Brown. Welcome back. Goalless at half-time. Clyde against Rangers, who have been out for some time, waiting for this second half to start. Clyde, as you can see, are just joining them. Let's us rejoin Billy McNeil and Jock Brown.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, welcome back to Broadwood Stadium. This really is a fascinating cup tie now, and that is reflected by the buzz all around this little stadium. Paul Gascoigne, the last player to emerge from the dressing room. The whole Rangers team been waiting for a couple of minutes at least there for Clyde to arrive, and clearly Gascoigne took some extra time inside. So, no change in either lineup for the second half. Peter Van Vossen, number 9, Ian Ferguson, number 2 for Rangers, playing against a stiff breeze in the second half, but that might not work against their fortunes. Perhaps easier in some ways to play against the wind, but for Clyde it would certainly give them some extra chance for relief when they make long clearances. There's Van Vossen. And Charlie Miller waiting for that to come off the bar. Van Vossen still can't get his first Rangers goal.
It's a lovely ball into the area there, and the goalkeeper was just maybe a little bit hesitant coming out, and Van Vossen does well to direct on target, but what an early chance, and what a fight for Clyde as early as this in the second half.
Right, the wind did help. It held the ball up for Van Vossen there to let him reach that. This is McCall. Clyde pulling everyone back except Charlie Nicholas. It was missed there by Watson. It was good fortune for Clyde. Tried to knee it away, but made no contact. So frustration again for Peter Van Vossen.
The Rangers look to have made a change in their lineup at the start of the second half, because Ian Ferguson's taken up a centre-forward position. Charlie Miller's dropped off into midfield, and obviously Walter Smith wasn't happy with what he had through the middle in the first half.
And Ian Ferguson has a pedigree as a striker. Scored the winning goal as a striker for St Mirren in the 1987 Cup final against Dundee United, a 20-year-old. McLaren's pass. Here's Ferguson with a layoff. Now Van Vossen away from Harrison. Still Van Vossen. Far side Laudrup. Shown outside by Knox this time. Good ball in. And Gascoigne with a header.
Once again, Laudrup shows us this exceptional ability of his to get past defenders and put those beautiful balls into middle. And really, I think Paul Gascoigne might be a little bit disappointed he didn't hit the target there, because it really was a beautiful ball in from Laudrup.
Perhaps distracted by Jim Thompson's late challenge towards him. That's Craig Moore's header. Played wide there by Harrison. Here's Nicholas taking on Moore. A good cross whipped in there, which Petric cut off for Rangers. Here's Van Vossen, starting the second half on the left-hand side. Ferguson through the middle. But no change there out of Thompson. Well, Jim Thompson is 24-year-old centre-half. How do you rate him, Billy?
I'm surprised that he's remained at Clyde as long as this, because I remember seeing him some seasons ago, and I felt that he had a real chance in the game, and he still looks very comfortable, even at this, the company he's in tonight. And yeah, I think he's a lad who's got a future in the game.
5 years he's been with Clyde. Here's Anand with McLaren. McLaren's confidence apparent. Moore. Kenny Gillis was shuttling across there to close him down. Here's Ian Ferguson. Well, started the match on Saturday in the league against Motherwell. Striker Ian Ferguson scored a goal inside 2 minutes from service from Gascoigne, but then, well, lost his way after the opening half hour or so. Finished up back in midfield and then substituted.
I think this is Walter Smith's problem just now, that with Alan McCoy's injured tonight and with Gordon Jury out for some considerable time, he's really got to find a natural centre forward, because they've had lots and lots of control of midfield at times. They've had good possession in and around the box. They've had good balls into that box. But they really need that goal scorer who's going to put the chances away.
Gascoigne, the Rangers player, penalised there for a bit of holding. Tommy Harrison waits for Jim Thompson's free kick. Won by Moore. Again, the marker for Eddie Anand when the ball is coming forward in the air. Ian Angus, distinguished career with Aberdeen and Dundee before going to Motherwell, where he won a cup winners medal, and then to Clyde. Nicholas taking on Moore. Moore under pressure now from Angus, and Nicholas not quite the sharpness and quickness of old. Still excellent control on both feet, but just lacks that little bit of nip, which of course will keep him in the Premier Division, Billy.
Well, that's right, and you know what a marvellous player he's been through the years. Very skillful, one of the most skillful players that we've produced in a long time, and it's nice that he can come to a club like Clyde and introduce that type of skill and that type of ability to the youngsters that are here.
Wynn carrying the ball through there a little bit more quickly to Andy Gorham. And a couple of frights in the first half, Gorham. Certainly no problems the opening spell of the second half. That's O'Neill's header. Pushed by McLaren, surely on Harrison. Yes, the free kick's been given. No complaint from the Scottish international. So Nicholas over the ball, tells Graham Fergus to stay back, invites Thompson and Knox to go forward. Good header out by McLaren, reaches Laudrup. Robertson goes ahead of Laudrup. That's good play by Laudrup. Robertson now the chance to deliver the cross to the left-hand side. Keith Knox made the clearance. Harrison wanted more time than McCall would allow there. Learning curve continued there for Harrison against experience of Stuart McCall. Snapping attentions in midfield. Headed down by Moore. midfield. Ferguson up front. Gascoigne racing forward once that ball delivered. Well, still not the kind of service he wanted, Gascoigne. Well, that shows the difference the wind makes now. That ball launched downfield by John Hillcoat has gone out for a goal kick at the other end. We'll see perhaps the problem Andy Gordon might have. Well, he contemplated a short one there to Gordon Petrich, but Eddie Hannon's alertness prevented that.
Rangers had difficulty with that wind in the first half, even though they wanted to play the ball short, play it into feet and make nice runs. But the wind is certainly taking the ball. And I think that Rangers playing into that wind will find it an awful lot more comfortable.
Ferguson to O'Neill. This is Kenny Gillis. Good challenge made by Ferguson. Van Bossen through the centre. Miller has joined him. Here's Gascoigne. Ferguson again. Loudra. Trying to tee that up for Ian Ferguson. It was well read though by O'Neill. Harrison did well to resist the challenge made by McCall. Good play from defence by Clyde. Excellent play. Nicholas with a pass. Here's Harrison, who started it all deep inside his own half. Retaining possession very well indeed. Nicholas appears on the right. A great header and a goal for Clyde. Ian Angus. And that was a classic. Started deep inside the Clyde half. And Ian Angus, who scored the cup final of 1991 for Motherwell, scores against Rangers.
It was a beautifully worked ball, and Tommy Harrison fed it out to Charlie Nicholas, but look at the quality of that ball right in there, and Ian Angus, never any danger of what he was going to do with it, but the quality of the pass from Nicholas, the cross was perfect, and so was a header from Ian Angus. Magnificent. Well, Rangers have got it all to do now. It'll be interesting to see how they respond to this particular predicament.
Ian Angus, only his second goal of the season, and he covered fully 50 yards to join that attack to get the header on target. And now we're on the brink, perhaps, of a real shock which will reverberate right round the country. Clyde have taken the lead. They've been courageous, they've been skillful, and they look so determined. But this is a key spot in the game because they'll be desperate to hold on to this lead for the next 5 or 10 minutes. It's when they can be very vulnerable. In fact, there's Petrich. The block was made by Hillcoat. And that might well be a crucial save in the match by John Hillcoat. Waited so long to get a real chance in the game. 2 excellent stops there.
Again, it's a marvellous cross in from the right-hand side there, and Gordon Petrich pushed the ball right into the bottom corner there, but John Hillcoat once again has been up to that challenge. He's really played well for Clyde, and it's exactly what you want from a goalkeeper.
Loudram now to Charlie Miller. Here's David Robertson. Couldn't take it on the run. Tommy Harrison backtracking with him. Here's McCall. McLaren goes forward. Gascoigne tackled well there in midfield by Gillis. It's back now with Petrich. Well, I wonder if Clyde never imagined they'd be defending a lead in this match. They have to decide tactically how they're going to go about it, because there will be a tendency, I think, to drop back and defend inside their own penalty area, around the edge of the box. And that could well be to their cost. Ferguson. Now McCall. Gascoigne becomes involved again. That's good play by Gascoigne, making space for himself, still in possession. That's Ian Ferguson. And Graham Ferguson made the challenge. Ian Ferguson thought he was fouled. Referee Kenny Clark couldn't have been closer to the play.
Gascoigne's probing for a space there, and when he puts it through, Ian Ferguson does well, gets in there. Well, had he gone down, it might have been interesting to see what the referee would have done then.
I think it was his strength which kept him up, and that may well have cost Rangers a penalty kick. Walter Smith and David Murray there in the stand. what thoughts are going through their minds. Well, Billy, what are the correct tactics now for Clyde with this lead?
Well, I think their tactics have been excellent. They've made that midfield area very congested. Their midfield players, including Charlie Nicholas and Tommy Harrison, have worked hard to get back and supplement that defence. They've just worked hard and they've got round, they've supplemented each other. I think particularly interesting was on the left-hand side where Keith Knox has never been left isolated with Loudrop. Ian Atkins has got round there to help him out. They've done it all over the pitch. They've been tremendous. And the goalkeeper, of course, is anything that's come behind his defence. He's been quick to get out there and make a save. But I think that they recognise that Rangers, without a natural centre-forward, are going to try and get things done down the wide positions. And they're covering tight in that middle. The young centre-half's been tremendous. But I wouldn't like to pick out one player because they've all worked very hard and none of them have let their team down at all.
And that goal, Billy, that goal really would race any match in the country at any level. It started deep inside their own half in the right back position. A series of passes, you see how many passes, before a terrific finish. And Annie Gorham has picked it up. It's a free kick, indirect free kick. Gorham is irate. Who he's angry with, I'm not sure.
I think he was
uncertainty there in the Rangers defence.
I think he was looking for his defenders to clear the way, and they're looking for him to come out. And at the end of the day, it's a definite back pass. But I think the defenders at that stage should have whipped it away. It's not the goalkeeper's responsibility when it comes as tight as that. Get it away out the way and get it out for a throw-in, and then argue about it.
Well, I'm still waiting to see a goal scored from this kind of indirect free kick inside the box since this rule was introduced. So can Clyde make it a first? Chance all right. McCall will charge the ball. Nicholas plays it back. There's Knox. Turned out to be a reasonable chance for Keith Knox despite the slip made by Charlie Nicholas.
Do you think that was done in the coaching crowd? I don't know. You know what?
Was it from the training ground? That's the question.
I felt the initial one was going to go all the way back to Keith Knox, but no, I don't think Charlie could have stage managed that one, could he? But it was a chance. It was a chance.
Back from Gascoigne. Here's Craig Moore. Good pass from Miller. Here's Loudrop hitting the byline and superbly tackled once again. Well, Keith Knox is playing like a man inspired.
Loudrop's pace is always a problem, but Keith Knox gets back there. Once again, he gets back there, makes a good challenge, and whatever cross was going to come in has been blocked. Everyone in the Clyde team has been magnificent tonight so far.
7-0 in corners, but that's 1-0 to Clyde in goals. And Ian Ferguson's header goes over the top. Well, on the hour mark now, Clyde leading by that precious goal from Ian Angus, 2-0.
I think Ian Ferguson's a bit annoyed with Gordon Petrish here. He's looking for a shout because Petrish is coming in to attack the ball, and really that's what you want in that situation. And if he gives a shout, the forward will get out of the way and give him a real chance. But I think obviously Rangers' nerves must be frayed a little bit at this stage.
Well, they've got to retain faith in the policy they adopted from the start. They keep playing passes through midfield into wide positions. They did that effectively for long spells in the first half without the cutting edge up front. Peter Van Bossen hustled all the way by Graham Watson. In goes Kenny Gillis. Another by Moore. That's Nicholas. Good positioning by Petric. Now McCall. Van Bossen goes wide. Well, a misunderstanding again, and there's a bit of arguing on among the Rangers players. Gascoigne wasn't happy with McCall there. Good control from Moore. Well, no survivor in the Rangers side from that day back in January 1987 when they lost at home to Hamilton Accies in the Cup. None of these players have experienced the prospect of being slain by David. in the role of Goliath. Well, Ian Angus has made all the difference. He scored a great goal in the cup final for Motherwell in 1991, but it wasn't any better than that one. Thompson's free kick, pumped high into the area. Good header by Moore under severe pressure. Now Gascoigne hasn't really made an impact in the second half. Laudrup has made an impact throughout the match. Good pass from Gascoigne. Here's Miller. A very well timed tackle again by Thompson. And you can sense the Rangers supporters becoming very impatient and upset here. Van Bossen's pass. Here's Robertson. And it's Martin O'Neill this time who makes a telling interception. Well, had there been a stamina problem for Clyde, I think that goal has changed it all.
It certainly has. They've had a real surge of adrenaline since then, and you know, they've worked hard throughout the game, and they're still continuing that hard work. Tremendous performance.
Space for Gascoigne. Back again with Laudrup. Another teasing cross into the area. Won by Gillis that time for Clyde. Laudrup being manhandled there by Harrison. It's a free kick to Rangers. Gascoigne goes across short to offer himself to Laudrup. Back to Van Bossen. Once again the block was made, this time by Graham Ferguson, who really felt that. The youngster has gone down. He's back on his feet now, but he felt that all right. Van Bossen hit it very hard indeed. And that's Ferguson again, nipping away the header. Look at the pain in his face. Robertson. Gascoigne. Through there. And a hopeful ball towards Nicholas. Walter Smith, not surprisingly, now down in the dugout for Rangers beside Archie Knox, discussing perhaps an alteration before long. Here's Ian Ferguson, very well tackled again by Thompson. Here's McCall. Nicholas spots the run made by Knox on the far side, decides against the pass, plays a simpler one, the safer one to Angus. Nicholas wants it back. This is Harrison. Angus with a cross, in comes Knox, it's hanging in the air. There's Knox! A great chance for Clyde. Andy Gordon was in trouble, deceived by the wind. Well, could so easily have been the second for Clyde. And the Rangers can breathe again. Petric assessing options, wants people to come short for the ball. Miller obliges. Good tackle again by Knox. Here's Nicholas. Excellent footwork by Nicholas. McLaren brings him down. There's no ill feeling, but there is a free kick to Clyde.
That last move that produced was tremendous, but Charlie Nicholas again showed his ability to go and commit players. He's enjoying himself, and the fact that Rangers fans are giving him a little bit of stick will be pleasing to him.
Well, I think this would rate very highly in the Nicholas career, who could Clyde survive and win this. It's over the top, but some respite for his players. It all funnel back to the halfway line. Interesting too that Rangers have on the bench John Brown, Ian Durant and the reserve goalkeeper Colin Scott. It's John Brown who's preparing to come on and inject some extra urgency, I suspect, into the Rangers play.
It's an interesting one because there's not an awful lot of variation on that bench available to him, and you know, perhaps he's going to put Craig Moore up front, maybe to give a little bit of height through the middle. Certainly they've had enough in that middle, and it's maybe just one way of that Walter's thinking to get something back.
There's Moore, there's chances on this time, it's Charlie Miller! The equaliser for Rangers. Craig Moore's intrusion on the right-hand side made all the difference.
They've had lots of play like that, but there's a little bit of luck just when you need it. And Charlie Miller coming from a more natural position. He's coming from behind the play. He's not up in front of it there, and he comes in and finishes well. And really, when you think of the chances that Rangers have had, it's perhaps they're entitled to think they score here, but dealt with it very well from that position. And he looks much more comfortable coming from behind the ball.
Fifth goal of the season for Charlie Miller, and John Hillcoat had no chance at all with that. And of course, Rangers have changed their mind about a substitution. John Brown puts the tracksuit back on. Well, the irony is that it could have been 2-0 to Clyde just a moment ago, and now it's one apiece. Here's Gascoigne. Angus was brought down by Ferguson. Free kick it is to Clyde.
It is ironical that Clyde had that tremendous chance. You know, Andy Gorham was all sorts of difficulty. It was a good ball into the back post. They had an extra player come in, and really Keith Knox might live to regret that. But having said that, that's just what makes top ties, and we've really got one going here tonight.
That Clyde may feel a sense of disappointment that they couldn't hold on longer in the lead, but they may well have enough encouragement to believe they can come forward and score again. A fascinating cup tie. Here's Van Bossen. Very powerful runner. Robertson to Gascoigne. That's for Van Bossen. Good positioning by Hillcoat.
It's a good run, and he knows what he's after. He wanted to curl one into the back post here, but you've got to be an awful lot more positive than he showed there. I just wonder if Walter might consider throwing him through the middle. He's certainly quick enough and pacey enough, and you know, with the wind holding the ball up, he might get the chance to use that pace.
Punching tackle there by Kenny Gillis, but he did appear to play the ball. Referee Clark on the spot instantly to give the free kick. Gascoigne would like to take it quickly. Waved aside by McLaren. Here's David Robertson. There's it wide for Moore, who made that equalising goal with his run and cross from the right-hand side. Petric to Robertson. Now McCall. Good attacking run. The pass was intended for Van Bossen. McLaren's header goes out. Ferguson couldn't reach it. Harrison inside. It's picked up easily by Gascoigne. That's Van Bossen. Misunderstanding though with Charlie Miller. Van Bossen exchanges words with Miller as Clyde come forward. Nicholas. Good running by Harrison up front, creating the space on the right-hand side here for Martin O'Neill. A wasted cross. Disappointment for the youngster. 20-year-old in the middle of the field. Certainly has been up and down the pitch to great effect tonight for Clyde.
I think he might be feeling the effects of that, because he's had to work up and down, he's had to supplement his defence, he's had to up and help his attack, and you know, it'll be interesting to see how they fare in the last part of the game, because they have worked very hard, those three midfield players.
Less than 20 minutes remaining. Cup tie still to be won. Angus with a fine tackle. Good ball from O'Neill, but Harrison couldn't get there ahead of McLaren. This is Robertson. Van Bossen comes short. So did Gascoigne, in fact. Gascoigne. Quick, skillful feet. Robertson, rather obvious with the pass. That came off O'Neill. Robertson again into McCall. Here's Van Bossen. Now Laudrup peeling off on the right to make space for himself. Craig Moore has gone outside him. Good clearance again by Knox. Anand working back well again. A very unglamorous role tonight for Clyde Anand, but he really has stuck to his task extremely well.
Yeah, there's no doubt whatsoever that he has worked. He's worked very hard. He's not had an awful lot of fruit tonight, but he's really worked hard to keep his team in this. And There's been a tremendous indictment to whatever it was that Alex Smith has told them. They've worked tremendously hard and possibly well above the station.
Keith Knox launching that into the far stand. Well, the possession certainly shows Rangers have had a very big edge in that respect. And it's 1 goal apiece, remarkably. Moore now to Miller. Petric quickly to the ball. Here's Van Bossen stepping away from Gillis. Collision down the far side. Leonard on his feet. There's Miller again, and Ferguson, and yet again it's Hillcoat. Well, the keeper showing his remarkable reflexes tonight once again to make a block from Ian Ferguson.
He's really been magnificent tonight, because that was a real chance, beautifully carved out, and the goalkeeper did so well.
Graham Watson did well there, stood up to Laudrup, turned that away to the corner.
Well, there's Laudrup, fights for the possession. It shows how much this game is to them, and he knows exactly what he wants. He hasn't put a risky ball in the middle there. He's looked up, he's sent one in. Oh, credit to the goalkeeper once again.
That came off Thompson. Ferguson fouled, was he? No, Ferguson has been penalised for dropping his head again. Dangerous play, says the referee. Looks like a break for Rangers. Here's Gascoigne. Angling it across. Miller with a turn. A call away from Ferguson. Gascoigne. No way through. Here's Gascoigne again. McCall outside him. Everything else to his right. Petric bringing out McCall. A little bit of ease about the Rangers play now. The back end business. That's Van Bossen away from 2 tackles. And it's the goal scored by Charlie Miller. Great play by Peter Van Bossen. Could so easily have been a penalty kick twice on Van Bossen, but he stood up so well. And Miller puts Rangers ahead.
He does tremendously well here. He could have gone down there, but he knows exactly what he's after. He throws it in hard into Charlie Miller. He knows that Charlie Miller's there, and once again coming from that deeper position. But that might well have been a penalty kick, but he does so well there, and so does Charlie Miller. He times that run well. But all credit to Rangers. They've responded very positively to the challenge that Clyde presented.
Well, Charlie Miller did so well indeed as he came to the near post at pace to get to the ball first to turn it in. And he has put Rangers in front for the first time in the match. Now, huge task ahead for Clyde. What resources do they have to come back? Just over a quarter hour remaining. Alex Smith hasn't given up the cause, that's for sure. Substitution will be made. Tommy Harrison is being withdrawn. Player coming on is Ian Nisbet. He's worked very hard, Harrison, as have all the Clyde players, but it's Nisbet who has the chance to make an impression. 21-year-old, joined the club from Aberdeen 2 years ago. Van Bossen, who did so well for that goal. Now Robertson. Well taken again by Hillcoat. Robertson doing well to keep that down. Well, the strain is now eased for Rangers.
Clyde have been a credit to a lower division side tonight. You know, it's not been done with kick and rush football. It's been done with accomplished, good, thoughtful display and hard work. But can they respond? Because, you know, they put Rangers under so much pressure. They almost had a second goal. Rangers have responded positively, got themselves in front. Be interested to see what Clyde can do next.
Charlie Nicholas trying. Shot came from Gillis. Clearance from Miller. It's Ian Ferguson. Moore sets off in chase. He won't get to that. Yes, Keith Knox, who's been a hero for Clyde this afternoon, will be looking back on that chance he had at 1-0 up to put Clyde 2 in front just before the equaliser. And he'll be very upset about that, I'm sure, when he reflects on the match. Unless Clyde, of course, can come back. Nisbet. Playing wide on the right, midfield. Nisbet again. Could he lose it running? Headed away by McLaren. Here's Ian Angus. That's good play in the build-up again from Clyde. David Robertson's header, that's awkward. McLaren did well with the acrobatic clearance. What a spirited reply it is from Clyde. Good block made by McCall. The retrieving work is done by Thompson. Still looking to play passes. And an upward bounce of the ball. Difficult for Ian Nisbet. Gascoigne drops off deep. They come involved again. There's Robertson. Van Bossen's return pass. Good interception again by Thompson. Gillis to Pickles. Strong play by Gascoigne. He was fouled by O'Neill. The free kick's been taken already. Gascoigne clearly in a hurry to tie this match up. Van Bossen to Ferguson. Nowhere to go there, heading for the byline. Escorted by Jim Thompson, and Clyde will make another substitution. Player coming off is Graham Ferguson. He's entitled to be very tired indeed after the effort he's put into the match. And the replacement is Jim Prunty. Young Jamie Prunty goes on to replace Ferguson, give him a taste of football life at this level. That's Watson. Loudrup holding off Knox. Back it goes to Andy Gorham. Well, you can tell quite clearly that Clyde have not given this up. They will battle right to the end. Rangers looking for a third goal to end the ties of contest. Graham Watson's clearance. Well, the young man has suffered so bad an injury. A couple of very bad leg breaks as an Aberdeen player. Cross it comes from Petrich. This is McLaren. Loudrup to Van Bossen. Well tackled again by Thompson. Timing was superb. Like on board again with O'Neill being chased by Charlie Miller. That's good play. The run is made by Nisbet. And it was Petrich at full stretch who made the saving tackle. Clyde retained an ambition. That's quite clear.
Again, a tremendous move through the middle. Only a last-gasp tackle gets that ball away from his foot. But, you know, we keep saying, what can Clyde do next? They've responded magnificently. They know they haven't put their heads down. They've buckled up, and they're working hard. And Rangers, I thought this would be a comfortable game for them tonight, but it certainly hasn't been anything but that.
Well, it's certainly not over either. Nicholas with a pass. Here's Knox. Chance on now in the counter-attack for Rangers, led by Gascoigne. Loudrup to his right. This could tie it up for Rangers. Van Bossen, he was onside. It counts. His first goal in Rangers colours, and sure enough, the tie is won. Well, the referee, a close look at the linesman here.
Yeah, I think the referee and the linesman were both right. And all credit to Van Bossen, he held himself behind that. But again, credit to Loudrup, because he was unselfish. He knew this was an important moment for them and just laid it across the goals for an easy opener for Van Bossen's goal account. But it was a good break by Rangers. But it was down to the fact that Clyde haven't given up this tie. They were pushing hard to try and get something back from the game. And, you know, they were committed and left themselves stretched at the back.
Yes, they lost the ball and set in the middle of the field. They're trying to build up an attack, and were thin at the back when that move developed. Van Bossen staying behind Brian Laudrup so that he was onside. Here's Ian Ferguson. Taking on Gillis. Another excellent save by Hillcoat. Knox with the clearance. Well, it certainly would be very rough on Clyde if they were to take a drubbing in the last 10 minutes or so.
Well, it would certainly put a false impression on the difficulty that the Rangers have suffered tonight. Rangers have had to work very hard to get a result, and they have, at times have played so magnificently to get that result, but all credit to
Here's Gascoigne. That's number 4. Gascoigne's 11th goal of the season. He takes it calmly.
The quality of the pass and the time of the run are brilliant, and so is Gascoigne's finish. Magnificent. Knew exactly what he wanted, but look at that ball through. Good run by Gascoigne. He's made several of those runs. Never got the delivered pass, but there you are, he doesn't miss those beautifully. But it's a shame to Clyde, but all credit to Rangers as well, because they played football all the way through. They never lost their head. They kept working away, and are getting the produce now.
Eddie Anand is being withdrawn, and that's a reflection in his contribution. He's worked extremely hard. The replacement is young Paul Patterson, 20-year-old. Spell at Rangers, then with Motherwell, now at Clyde. And 4-1 it is. And for Clyde now, the roof is falling in. Tidying up work done by Graham Watson. Puntina out in this spot. Tackle came from Van Bossen. Rangers have the throw. Gascoigne. It's a very good scoring record he has from midfield. The Rangers, 11 goals he scored this stage in the season.
I think it's a tremendous return that he's given Rangers. He's got this ability to break forward and burst into that box, and he looks to me to be getting fitter and sharper by the game, and I think it all goes well for him personally, because obviously he's worked hard at his personal fitness and he puts so much in the game, but he's got this little quality that we seldom see nowadays, of being able to hold that ball and pinpoint beautiful passes.
Clyde of a free kick. Here's Charlie Nicholas. Posted down by Gascoigne. Van Bossen has found space through the middle. Laudrup sprinting clear on the right. That's for Laudrup. Well, that's unusual. Losing his bearings there, standing in the ball. Gillis collects for Clyde. Nicholas again dropping deep. Well, I'm sure Clyde still wants another goal before the end. The finish with some style. Well, they had real hopes for fully 13 minutes. That's the time they held the lead provided by Ian Angus. Only the last quarter of the match that Rangers have taken over. So Laudrup back to Petric. Cross it goes from McCall to Moore. Tackle came from Knox. Patterson couldn't get there ahead of Petric. She was a bit clumsy with the challenge. The free kick's been taken already by Rangers. Here goes Gascoigne. And a splendid tackle on Gascoigne there by Knox. Here's Alan McLaren. And now Gascoigne. McCall has options to the right and Laudrup to the middle. Miller, Ferguson, and Van Bossen. This is Laudrup. Charlie Miller looking at his hat-trick. He's disappointed. That was a reasonable chance, all right. Again, provided by Laudrup.
He's produced some magnificent crosses in from both sides, and he picks out Charlie Miller here. Charlie just maybe timed his run just a little bit badly. He was in ahead of the ball there and didn't get any power behind it. But he can be happy because his initial goals were very important to Rangers tonight.
So back it comes from Moore to McLaren. Gascoigne. Here's Laudrup. Headed on by Petric. Here's Thompson, who's had a fine match for Clyde. Well, that's handball against him. He's booked after 10 minutes for handball. He's done it again. Just 3 or 4 minutes from the end, and happily no action taken by the referee except the free kick. Miller inside, Van Bossen to Laudrup. Couldn't get that past Nisbet. Thompson looking there for O'Neill, who really has run out of steam, I think, now, and not surprisingly. Well, these Clyde players, a credit to the club. Credit to the manager, Alex Smith, who set them up so expertly for the match. But the strength and the ability of Rangers in the end telling. Thompson still there, clearing up that cross. Bossen now looking for the chance to play a telling pass from here. Now Laudrup. Headed away by Gillis. Patterson on his own up here with Moore and Petric and McLaren. Replacing Eddie Annan. McLaren to Gascoigne. Into the gap it goes for Ferguson. That's Van Bossen. Ferguson tackles from there, he wanted the ball. Have a shot at goal, I think. And Bossen will lay this back perhaps to Charlie Miller to give him a chance for the hat-trick. Hit Paul kindly. Gascoigne. Now Laudrup. Clearance by Knox. Still Rangers coming forward. Clyde hanging on here, trying to retain as much respectability as possible, I think. There are very few neutrals who would grudge them that. Well, Rangers taking time in possession. Well, Billy, you've another task to perform. The Tennent's man of the match is to be announced by you and a number of candidates, I'm sure.
They certainly are, and an awful lot of them are in those Clyde colours. And indeed, Brian Laudrup figures very, very highly. And I always like to give it to an attacker, but on this occasion, I feel I've got to give it to John Hillcoat because those saves he produced looked so confident between the sticks, and he helped Clyde settle down and helped them make a real cup tie of this. And really, if you think about it, he had no chance with any goals, and give a young man who perhaps doesn't get an awful lot of the spotlight just a chance. So my Tennent's man of the match would certainly be the goalkeeper, John Hillcoat.
Rangers enjoying possession here, keeping the ball and setting up Ian Ferguson as Charlie Miller. And there's the man mentioned by Billy McNeil, the man of the match, John Hillcoat. And certainly never at fault, any of the goals, and no chance at all.
No, he showed tremendous composure even early in the game, and never a chance with any goals. And if anything, he epitomised the Clyde spirit, the Clyde attitude tonight.
25 years old, 2 years with Clyde from Dunfermline. Some consolation, but he has produced a terrific performance. Clyde too, the team have been really terrific and well worthy of all the credit they're going to get for this performance. The scoreline makes it sound easy for Rangers, but those who've been watching know differently. It's taken until the last quarter of the match for Rangers to break through. Here's Charlie Nicholas, who's also shown some marvellous glimpses of real style. Here's Ian Angus. Clyde trying to emulate that spell of possession Rangers enjoyed. Both sides know the game is over. There's a bit of pride at stake now. This is a good play. Now Knox. Patterson. Tackled well by Moore. The referee Kenny Clark brings a splendid cup tie to an end. Clyde a credit to the second division. Charlie Miller, a key man in scoring the equalising goal and the leading goal for Rangers. Peter Van Bossen got his first in Rangers colours before Paul Gascoigne produced another gem 7 minutes from time. It's been a very healthy complexion of the scoreline, but what a fright Rangers got thanks to the goal from Ian Angus in 53 minutes. and Charlie Nicholas and Paul Gascoigne exchanging congratulations. And there's the man of the match. The tenants' man of the match is John Hillcoat, the outstanding young goalkeeper for Clyde, who kept this tie full of interest right through to the point where the second goal went in. Andy Gorham greets him warmly, some words of encouragement for the young man, and Andy Gorham perhaps reflecting on a chance missed by Keith Knox at 1-0 to Clyde. Hillcoat goes off. Gascoigne applauds the fans as well. It's been a splendid night football, and Clyde have made this a cup tie to remember. So the teams depart, the crowd's still buzzing. Billy, what about that Clyde performance?
Tremendous, you know, that I've got to be honest, as an old Clyde manager, you know, I was hoping they wouldn't be disgraced tonight, and they weren't. They were magnificent, and really, at the end of the day, it's a little bit disappointing that Rangers scored 4, but all credit to Rangers as well, because they worked hard, they never lost their heads, they kept playing a nice bit of football. Loudon, I felt, was magnificent tonight, and perhaps at the end of the day, because of the possession they had, were due that result.
Well, the man of the moment is with Davy Provan. John Hillcoat, the Clyde goalkeeper.
John, let me take you back to the 53rd minute in that match. Just what was going through your mind when Ian Angus put Clyde ahead?
I was delighted, you know. I thought we had them at 1-0. But obviously, like a team like Rangers, you know, I mean, they've just got to keep coming back at you and back at you, and that's what they've done.
You told me on Thursday that when we spoke that you were going to have the time of your life tonight. How did you enjoy the centre stage?
Well, I enjoyed the first half, obviously, you know, it was nil each for getting in, nil each for got a chance. And as I say, they just come up and just done us, basically.
Charlie, we've asked John what was going through his mind at 1-0. What were you thinking?
I thought that was it. I was really scared. But we came back and battled on. We got the victory, and I think the fans are happy now.
Did you always feel that if you kept working, Clyde, kept the pace of the game up, you would get your reward?
I always think that every game, if somebody goes ahead, we never stop, we just keep on playing, and that's what we've done. We got a victory. Clyde done very well.
Charlie, I'm sure you won't disagree with this man getting the Man of the Match award tonight, and perhaps you'll present the plaque to him. Well done, lads.
Yeah, well done, John. That was some performance by Clyde all round. Smashing, thoroughly enjoyable. They're beaten by 4 goals to 1, but certainly not disgraced. Cracking cup tie. We'll have the thoughts of Craig Brown and Steve Archibald when we come back. (4-1) Rangers, which doesn't really tell us the whole story tonight. It's a terrific performance from Clyde. If you look at the attempts from Rangers, 23, 11 on target, 9 corners without reply from Clyde. Just the one booking, Jim Thompson, in the first half. Action areas first half dominated by Rangers, but it was goalless at half-time. Second half, not much of a change really, and the possession looked 63% to Rangers. Scottish team manager Craig Brown is with us tonight. So too is Steve Archibald. And as I said, Steve, anything but embarrassed there, Clyde. They've had a smashing night, haven't they?
Fantastic night. I think that we've had everything in the game that we weren't really entitled to be honest. You've had Clyde scoring the first goal, and the way it was scored as well, it was constructed beautifully. There was, I don't know how many passes there were.
Well, let's have a look. Here it comes, real time, actually. They were in trouble.
Yeah, very deep it started.
And there was an opinion in here that they should just get this out, which was mine. But you were right, Craig. They played the way. I mean, this is terrific, isn't it?
Yeah.
You counting, Steve?
Yeah, 6 already.
Yeah.
And
We've kept possession.
7, and then the great delivery from Charlie.
8 and the 9.
Good finish as well, eh?
Superb finish.
Ninth pass. Tremendous goal.
Quality of the ball in?
Magnificent.
Yeah.
That's the goal of the night, I'm afraid. And maybe it was the wrong thing at the wrong time, because that spurred Rangers into action.
Whipped in at great pace. Terrific delivery. Good header. And but Rangers must take a lot of credit, because everything was against them at that stage, and they've been really professional, come through and gone on to win the game. Fantastic.
Might have been more against them had Keith Knox taken that opportunity at 1-0. And what sort of chance was this from a man who's made his reputation in and around the penalty box?
It was a chance, real chance, but you've got to look at who the chance falls to. It's Keith Knox, who's not a renowned goal scorer. And perhaps if it had fallen to Charlie or Eddie Anand, then it may have been a different story, but it falls to Keith. And he just snatches at it. He's got more time than he knows. Oh. And if Clyde score there, then Rangers are really on a sticky wicket.
So we're ahead for 13 minutes, Craig. We were talking about Charlie Nicholas at the end of the first half. Charlie Miller within about the space of 10 minutes in the second half. He got the equaliser.
Yeah, Charlie Miller did very well here, but I think I was crediting Alex Smith at half-time with excellent tactics. We've got to commend Walter Smith also. He made a vital change. He brought Charlie Miller into his natural position in midfield and pushed Ian Ferguson up. Brought Van Vossen closer to Ferguson through the middle, and it was a totally different Rangers team. But Charlie, coming from deep, finished that magnificently.
And Miller, of course, got the second, created by Van Vossen, this one, who stayed on his feet here. Could have gone down again. There's no need for that, was there?
Run. This is a great run to the front post by Charlie Miller. Again, from the deeper midfield position.
I think the credit here is
to Van Vossen for not falling.
Van Vossen, yeah. Superb, waited, patience, and Charlie's made the run, as Craig said, and great finish.
He hit the bar right at the start of the second half, Van Vossen, and then, finally, found a way through for his first goal for Rangers. It was over as a contest, but that was offside, wasn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say that, but it was marginally onside, I thought. He came from behind the ball, but very unselfish on the part of Brian Laudrup. Brian Laudrup could have tried to score himself, but that's typical of him. He's an unselfish player, and he set it up for Van Vossen very well.
Let's just have a look at the fourth quickly. Paul Gascoigne got that in typical Gascoigne fashion, I would suggest.
Superb run, superb ball. Timing was all there. Timing was everything. Keepers and caught in no man's land, and it's a classy goal. Good
Again,
goal.
a great reverse pass.
Yeah.
From, I think, Brian Laudrup to him. Tremendous.
Well, Alex Smith and his team can take a great deal of credit out of the evening, and here he is with Davy Provan.
Yeah, Clyde will take a great deal of credit out of the match. Alec, at 1-0, did you feel you might hold on at that stage?
Yes, I thought at that stage we were well on top. We'd scored, Rangers were rattled, and I felt that for an hour and a quarter of the game, we looked as if we were going to get a result. We had the opportunity to get it to 2. We missed the opportunity, and Rangers raced up the park and equalised. And always against a bigger club when you're playing like that, if you don't get the extra goal and take the chance when it comes to get it to 2, then you're liable to be punished at the other end of the park, and that's exactly what happened.
Do you think a bit of tiredness set in there because Rangers kept the pace of the game up?
I think no doubt about that. I think when we lost the first goal, there was a bit of tiredness came in. I came down the stairs and wanted to make a couple of changes before the second one went in, and unfortunately we lost it before we got the substitutions made. The tired visibly, because Rangers getting the goal took the pressure back off them, then they started to play. And of course their players, when they get in top, can play the game, and they made us work harder after that.
The Clyde performance tonight, Alec, begs the question why Clyde are lying 4th bottom of the 2nd division. What can Clyde take from this? Well,
that's an interesting question for us. We've got to take a lot of credit from it and realise that that is the way we want the game played. And if we play the game like that, at that particular pace against the clubs that we play in our league, then we'll have no fears. But we tend to play like that in the opening spells of the game, score a goal, then allow teams to come and...
Well, that's rather disappointing, but I think we got the gist of the evening from Alex there. Not enough time, sadly, to go back, but there is to say a big thank you to Craig for joining us tonight, and also to Steve Archibald. Thoroughly enjoyed it this end. I wish we had more time to talk, but we'll see you both again shortly, I trust.
Thank you.
Now, coming up on Sky Sports...